Hello everyone, I am BowserJrXD. Welcome to the Sao Paulo Grand Prix, raced at Interlagos Circuit, or otherwise known as the Autodromo Jose Carlos Pache. Race 21 of 24 for Formula 1 in 2024. 4 races to go, and with a 47-point deficit between Max Verstappen and Lando Norris. Norris starts on pole, but due to a crazy-ass qualifying session and an engine penalty, Verstappen will start near the back in 17th. On top of that, multiple cars wrecked in qualifying. It just caused Carlos Sainz to start at the pit lane and Alex Albon to not be able to start the race at all, even though he qualified 7th. I will mention Albon in the qualifying order in the 7th position, but he will not be starting the race. Anyway, race was moved up, I think due to weather. So now I'm just waiting for the 10:30 start time. I think it said it's going to be, the race is supposed to be on ESPN. Wait, ESPNU? Great. Well, shoot. I gotta find a stream. Damn it. Because I don't have ESPNU. I don't think I do, at least. Boom, 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 boom. Anyway, starting lineup. Starting 20th, driving the number 55. Ferrari for Scuderia Ferrari HP. 30 years old from Madrid, Spain, Carlos Sainz. Starting 19th, driving the number 24. Sainz is 5th in points. Starting 19th, driving the number 24. Anyway, and Sainz again starting from the pit lane. Starting 19th, driving the number 24. Sauber Ferrari for Stake F1 Team Kick Sauber. 25 years old from Shanghai, China, Zhou Guanyu, 21st in points. Starting 18th, driving the number 27, Haas Ferrari for MoneyGram Haas F1 team. 37 years old from Emmerich and Rhein, Germany, Nico Hulkenberg, 10th in points. Starting 17th, driving the number 1, Red Bull Honda for Oracle Red Bull Racing. 27 years old from Hasselt, Belgium, but repping the Netherlands, Max Verstappen, the points leader, and the winner at Interlagos in 2019 and 2023. Alright, that was one way to check to see if I have this channel, although I bet that I don't. Starting 16th, driving the number 43, Williams Mercedes for Williams Racing. 21 years old from Pilar, Argentina, Franco Colapinto, 18th in points. Starting 15th, driving the number 50, Haas Ferrari for MoneyGram Haas F1 team. 19 years old from Havering, United Kingdom, Oliver Behrman, 17th in points, and the youngest driver in the field. Starting 14th, driving the number 44, Mercedes for Mercedes AMG Petronas F1 team. 39 years old from Stevenage, United Kingdom, Lewis Hamilton, 6th in points, and a winner of the Sao Paulo Grand Prix in 2016, 2018, and 2021. Starting 13th, driving the number 10, Alpine Renault for BWT Alpine F1 team. 28 years old from Rouen, France, Pierre Gasly, 16th in points. Starting 12th, driving the number 11, Red Bull Honda for Oracle Red Bull Racing. 34 years old from Guadalajara, Mexico, Sergio Perez, 8th in points. And starting 11th, driving the number 77, Sauber Ferrari for Stake F1 Team Kick Sauber. 35 years old from Nastola, Finland, Valtteri Bottas, 23rd in points. All right, let's see if we get this working.
A fairly short period.
Starting 10th, driving the number 18, Aston Martin Mercedes for Aston Martin Aramco F1 team. 26 years old from Montreal, Canada. Lance Stroll, 11th in points. Starting 9th, driving the number 14, Aston Martin Mercedes for Aston Martin Aramco F1 team. 43 years old from Oviedo, Spain, Fernando Alonso, 9th in points, and the oldest driver in the field. Starting 8th, driving the number 81, McLaren Mercedes for McLaren Formula 1 team. 23 years old from Melbourne, Australia, Oscar Piastri, 4th in points. Starting 7th, driving the number 23, Williams Mercedes for Williams Racing. 28 years old from London, England, but repping Thailand, Alex Albon, 14th in points. He will not start the race due to the damage in Q3. Starting 6th, driving the number 16, Ferrari for Scuderia Ferrari HP. 27 years old from Monte Carlo, Monaco, Charles Leclerc, 3rd in points and the highest starting Ferrari-powered driver. Starting 5th, driving the number 30, RB Honda for Visa Cash App Racing Bulls F1 team. 27 years old from Hastings, New Zealand, Liam Lawson, 20th in points. Starting 4th, driving the number 31, Alpine Renault for BWT Alpine F1 team. 28 years old from Evro, France, Esteban Ocon, 19th in points, and the highest starting Renault-powered car. Starting 3rd, driving the number 22, RB Honda for Visa Cash App Racing Bulls F1 team. 24 years old from Sagamihara, Japan, Yuki Tsunoda, 12th in points, and the highest starting Honda-powered car. Starting outside pole, driving the number 63, Mercedes for Mercedes AMG Petronas F1 team. 26 years old from Kingsland, United Kingdom, George Russell, 7th in points, and the winner here in
first time since Australia 2016 that the junior team have outqualified both.
And the winner here in 2022.
You just wonder the impact that that's
I just
going to
want
have at
to
the
do
start
a
because
quick
they are just
calculation.
gonna be
On the pole, driving the number 4, McLaren Mercedes for McLaren Formula 1 team, with a pole time of 1 minute 27.405 seconds and an average speed of 115.547 miles per hour. Keep in mind that's under rain conditions. 24 years old from Bristol, United Kingdom, Lando Norris, the current chaser for the championship.
He was braking 250 meters before the
We'll debate this later on. Let's talk about the real Formula 1 drivers on the track today. But as I was saying, being on the right time at the right time is going to be super important. If there's rain coming in 20 minutes' time, you've got to try and keep these intermediates
They're
cool,
starting on
keep them
intermediates.
alive, so when the water comes down, you've got enough tread on the tyres to combat that. But if somebody's feeling racy and thinks, you know, I'm going to absolutely hammer these tyres, maybe the track will dry up a bit. We can put slicks on for a few laps. You could gain 4 or 5 seconds.
Oh, who spun? It's Stroll.
Turn 4, Delagos on the formation lap has gone off. Now, I think he's pulled over to the side here. Remember, Lance Stroll crashed in qualifying and brought out one of the 5 red flags, and we can see what happened as he was making his run. No, he just lost it under braking. Wow.
Oh, damn. Yeah, he might have broken his front wing.
You know, car's been fully rebuilt, new gearbox, new rear suspension, a whole bunch of new components. And just locked up the rears, ended up in the wall. He's still there. So are they going to abort the start? Because Norris, I can see out of the commentary box window, is coming around the corner. Carlos Sainz, meanwhile, is pulling. Oh, he's in the gravel.
What?
So he's got it. He's managed to keep the engine going.
Now he's stuck in a. Oh my God.
He's ended up in the gravel, and this will be an aborted start.
Yeah.
Because if that car's beached, they're going to have to send a recovery vehicle to try and get him. Oh, Lance Stroll, after getting into Q3 and an excellent chance in wet conditions to try and get a very high start. He crashed in qualifying and now he's out before the start of the race.
Great, we're down to 18 cars.
Procedure. So I can see mechanics running up the pit lane.
So
they might be called back onto the grid because the leading cars are pulling up to the start line. There's no way.
I guess Valtteri will start in the top 10 officially. Well, he already was, I guess, because of. He would have been one of the 10th car in the grid because of Albon not being there, but good Lord. We're down to 18 cars, and the race hasn't freaking started.
Carlos Sainz has trundled to where he needs to go. We're all lining up on the grid. No information from race controllers yet as to which way they want to go here. The sensible option surely is to abort the starts And caution should.
Carlos Sainz is still in pit lane because that's where he's starting. Stroll is out of his car.
Walking away. You don't really want cars going past the scene of a driver walking around.
They need to make a call here. The drivers are parked on the grid. And
aborted start.
Okay, there we go.
Just come up now.
All right, the start has been aborted.
So the drivers are all going to go round for one more formation lap, and this will count as one of the 71 racing laps.
It'll be 71 laps around this 2.677 mile, aka 4.309 kilometer racetrack.
What a dramatic
Total race distance, about 190 miles or 306 kilometers.
Course of option for the FIA is actually for the safety car to lead them around, and effectively a safety car start, so the cars can keep cool, because there's not one mechanic that can make it back under a minute and a half now, Crofty. They're all back in the garages next to me. So the best course of option would be a safety car start, safety car lead them round until Stroll's car is recovered, and then it can let them go.
Unbelievable.
Right, you can see the double waved yellows down at that corner, but what's happened here, Karun Chandler, is that half of the field seem to have remained, or a third of the field have remained where they are. Franco Colapinto,
what are they doing?
Valtteri Bottas. Now, Pierre Gasly, Nico Hülkenberg, and Ollie Behrman, I should
Verstappen's
say,
still there.
feel to get going here and join the rest of the pack, while others are just stationary, including Max Verstappen.
I think there's confusion about aborted start, meaning get the mechanics and everybody back on the grid versus an extra formation lap. Okay.
Yeah, all sorts of procedures have been breached here, Max. We're looking into it. Should not have started.
Yeah, you have to wait for a green light.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I think there's confusion around the procedure.
Great start.
Versus go do an extra
Well, yeah, I'm
lap.
debating whether to do a stream for Martinsville, depending on my plans.
Just in race
might
control,
change today.
Stroll's car has now been dragged out of the gravel. It's still in the runoff area.
But the thing is, you can't have those cars down to Oscar Piastri that made the initial move off the grid sitting there for what's going to be the best part of a minute, whilst Franco Colapinto leads the back markers round to the grid. Then it's just going around Ferragura at the moment. I think, to me, and this is where Franco
Colapinto in the wrong spot?
to the wrong grid spot. And I'm not surprised. Inexperienced driver. He should have been lining up Franco Colapinto in 16th place. There he goes, a bit further forward, but that isn't his grid spot.
Yeah.
He should have been one behind Ollie Behrman, which is where he stopped in the first place.
Yeah.
Surely for me, if you just abandon any form of start now for the next 10 minutes or so, you can sort out the order. Bernie Collins.
Yeah, so we're just hearing on team radio they're getting some information from the FIA.
No, that's what they got Stroll's car off.
Stop on the grid, and it's going to go back to the 10-minute point, I believe. So they'll go back to the grid procedure 10 minutes. What that does, all the mechanics will be rushing back out onto the grid.
Wait, what? Oh, come on. I got to wait another 10 minutes for this?
They'll be trying to wrap these up, probably put on a hot set of intermediates.
Who cares?
And yeah, a bit of a fuss to go through about which position everyone was in on the grid there. But back to the formation start, now 2 gaps on the grid.
Yeah, this mess was caused from the front. We're just trying to unpick it.
So the question
You did the right thing.
Question I need to ask is, should Lando Norris have just stayed
This
where he
is
was?
so
Yeah,
stupid.
because as
Now we got to
Max
wait
said,
another
should be the green
10
light.
minutes.
The orange light's flashing. Generally, if you're going to go do an extra formation lap, you get the orange flashing and the green light below it. Whereas in an aborted start, the procedure, as Bernie just highlighted, is don't go anywhere. We're going back to effectively the 10-minute before the start grid procedure. But it
Now hearing that Lando was noted by the stewards. Why?
Oh, we just follow the car in front.
It's not an argument.
It's not
when
an
you're
argument.
breaking the rules.
I think the difference coming, Crofty, is terminology. Aborted start, we often say aborted start, extra formation lap. That's what's often
All right.
the thing.
Formation
When
lap starts
this
in
happens,
9
they
minutes.
call it abandoned
Well,
start.
okay.
So there's a bit of confliction in terms of what they've done.
Guess what? Lando Norris has been noted by the race director for a starting procedure infringements.
Yeah, which explains the tone of the radio messages from GP to Max there. I have to admit, when I saw aborted start, I thought nobody go anywhere, mechanics go back to the grid.
correct.
And I was a little bit surprised to see them pull away.
More chance of the rain coming a lot more quickly towards the start of this race, which should come now for a next formation lap at 12:47. By my reckoning, we've had one lap of this race. We're going to have at least one more formation lap, so it will be a 69-lap race under green flag conditions, unless we get a safety car or anything else. But who gave Lando Norris the call to move off the grid? Because is that something the driver would
Starting
have done himself
procedure infringement.
and made that call himself, or would it be instructed by the pit wall? What would have been the procedure at Aston Martin, Bernie?
Well, the procedure changes year on year with these things.
Let's just look through it here. Sorry, Bernie. It's just,
There was no green light.
There's no green light. It said aborted star, and there was no green light. Sorry, Bernie, pick up.
So often at that point, what you'll see where we've seen aborted start up there in text, you'll see extra formation lap is what they should have seen at that point. You get the lights, the green, like you say. In this one, I've just quickly went through the regs. So aborted start does say wait for further update. Now, the rules changed a few years ago that all of the engineers can now speak to the drivers through those laps, through the laps to grid, through their formation lap, and therefore give them the information. So it is, I've not gone through the radio comms, I will go through it shortly, but it is the onus a little bit on the pit wall there because they can give the driver the information.
The
We
rain
used
will
to end
come
up
too.
with actually a cut down version of the regs, like a flow chart. If this happens, what happens next? If this happens, what should you do? What is the procedure for the driver? So lots and lots of sheets to go through. But yes, like you say, the driver should be thinking, if there's no green light, should go ahead.
Absolutely.
The driver needs to be focusing on what they need to do for the launch. At that stage, he's done. You know, he needs to be focusing on what his perfect start. He can't be thinking of the regs, and he needs help from the pit wall to say, don't go anywhere or go ahead.
He is under investigation, Lando Norris, with the FIA stewards for a starting procedure infringement. Question is, what penalty, if any, does Lando Norris get if they find him guilty?
So, all I say, Lance Stroll has had 2 crashes today, and both times impacted the 2 different championship contenders.
He certainly has. Keep talking, because I might be able to find out the answer here to what penalty he might be able to get.
All right, you look up the rules. I will look at those clouds hovering over downtown Sao Paulo and moving swiftly towards the circuit. There is Charles Leclerc. I guess, as saying before, a lot of the cars did go, but I suppose the way it's being investigated is, Bernie, that Lando went and the others followed suit.
Lando was the first car, and in a way will take the burden of responsibility, I think, a little bit for having moved off the grid. Now, a lot of drivers waited, like we seen Verstappen waited, made it absolutely clear that his intention was not to go until pushed a little bit from the pit wall to do it. So there's going to be a lot to unpick from the FIA to make sure who did what, when, with what intention.
There's an awful lot of penalties and rules and regs for which drivers can be given penalties, and I can't see on my penalty point guidelines for the stewards what the penalty is for a starting procedure infringement when a driver moves off the line when it says aborted start before a green light.
I have to say, this feels unprecedented to me.
It does.
I can't remember a time that it happened, but we've already discussed many times this weekend that my memory is pretty shocking. So.
No, I think this is unprecedented, where the man on pole has, or the driver on pole has driven off. So I think this is new territory. Would they treat it, Croft, do you think, as the same as a jump start violation?
Well, yes, Sergio Perez got that 5 seconds for being out of place. And that was a starting procedure infringement, wasn't it? Or a starting grid infringement. I would imagine the 5 seconds is about what the stewards would give.
Yeah.
There is an argument that, yes, Lando Norris, clearly from what we've seen, went too quickly, but others followed him as well. So do you penalise everybody or just the leader of the pack?
And, Bernie's quick little research suggested that the wording should have said abandoned start. So
I actually want to change my answer on that, and it does in the reg say aborted start.
Okay,
It does say aborted start.
All right, okay, so that's no defence there. So yeah, I guess do other people get done? We'll see, because ultimately, Crofty, it's the old speeding camera violation, isn't it? If you get caught speeding doing 80 in a 70, then just because
Someone else has done it.
3 cars in front of you also did it, it doesn't mean you get away with it.
Ted Kravitz, down to you.
So let me tell you what's going on down the pits. All the mechanics, having run down to the grid to keep the cars cool, to change tyres if they needed to, and to top up anything else that they needed to, have done that. They're all now pouring back from there. So if the mechanics hadn't had a long enough day, Crofty, out of bed at 4 a.m., then it's even worse for them now. But it looks like we're getting towards the end of that. Carlos Sainz, by the way, is still at the end of the pit lane. His intermediate tyres wrapped up in some tyre blankets. But yeah, I've got to say, I mean, if Checo Perez was in Mexico, it was 5 seconds penalty. It's kind of worse if you run a red light, isn't it? So I'm kind of thinking it's they'll be lucky to get away with just 5 penalties.
All right.
The naughty boys who ran the red light.
Yeah, technically it was amber, but that's just a colour infringement there on that one. I know what you're saying. We'll keep you posted, ladies and gentlemen.
Yet another reason to add to my list of not wanting to ever be a steward.
Yeah, certainly not unpaid as well for that one. So the fans still wait patiently, and the next formation lap will start in 2.5 minutes' time.
I do love the fans here. They turn up, rain or shine. It doesn't dampen their spirit. They're brilliant. And look at all those bits of yellow all through that. Those are still the Ayrton Senna fans.
Yeah.
So much merch, Crofty. As I walked through the fan area yesterday, Senna still outselling all of the other drivers here.
And there's Max Verstappen waiting down in P17. Worth pointing out that he will pass Michael Schumacher's record today of 896 consecutive days in the lead of a driver's championship. Whatever happens in the race, he'll still be in the lead come the end of it. That is a phenomenal achievement, to be at the top of the table for that long and to keep that focus for such a long time as well. I would imagine he would like to have gone into surpassing that record in a much better grid spot, but such is life, and that's the way it's all turned out for him today.
He did the donkey work at the start of the season, doesn't it? You know, it kind of feels a bit like Jenson Button's championship in 2009.
Just about to say Brawn in 2009.
Yeah, and then he sort of did the donkey work early, and then the others are coming under, particularly Lando. I mean, if you take away the first 5 races, right, Norris will be leading the championship by 5 points.
Yeah.
That shows just how much of an advantage Red Bull and Max in particular, of course, had in those opening 5 races, and did a brilliant job, you know, in that phase. But it's just, it's been really tough for them.
I think we should be going the formation lap again.
Those points have come in the sprint races, including
All right, tire blankets coming off.
To go. 13 points from Max Verstappen, I should say, ahead of Lando Norris, who's under investigation then by the stewards. And we'll have to lead them round on an extra formation lap once again. And we've already lost Alex Albon from this race after qualifying. The Williams team tried their hardest to fix that car, but all to no avail. They got Lance Stroll's car at Aston Martin fixed and ready, but just under braking. Down at turn 4, he went out onto the runoff area and then managed to get the car beached in the gravel. So more disappointment for Lance Stroll, who this time last year started 3rd on the grid and finished 5th.
Yeah, I hope he buys his mechanics a large drink and some dinner tonight, because they've done an awful lot of work repairing that car, only to see it drive off and do 3 corners.
And it means, of course, he didn't start, so he'll remain tied with Jacques Villeneuve for the record amount of race starts by a Canadian driver. That record is not his. Until we go to Las Vegas, ladies and gentlemen, in a few weeks' time, and Vegas promises to be an absolute thriller once again. Can't wait to get under the lights.
All right, let's
Vegas.
try again.
We've got there. Should be a brilliant, brilliant weekend. Right, we're off again for a formation lap. Let's see if everyone can stay on the track this time, and let's see if we can get a start underway here.
Yeah, well, look at Lando there. You see the tyre tracks, the wheel tracks on there, just zigzagging around. You see
New York Marathon's ongoing at the moment.
You know, there's Hamilton and Verstappen calling on. Norris is already at turn 6 at this stage.
What's the weather doing, Bernie Collins? Is it starting to rain?
Well, it's just blown up on the radar there. There's this big burst of cloud that's just come. It's going to hit the last bit of the
Marathon
track,
is sponsored
12,
by
13,
TCS,
14
the title
first.
sponsor for
It was looking
Jaguar
like it was 15
in
minutes away. Now
Formula
suddenly it
E,
looks right
Jaguar
on top of us.
TCS
Jun
Racing.
Sao turn 12, and you can get the perspective of Jun Sao if you wish, as Lando Norris is edging towards that corner, says it's spitting with rain. You can get the perspective from a driver's view if you go to our onboard channel. All the onboards and team radios are there. You need your Sky Sports login and your Sky Sports ID. And if you're watching on Sky Glass, Sky Stream or Sky Q, you can use your interactive button on your remote control, as you can if you're watching on Now. Now is the time to get some racing underway. Get this race going before the heavy rain starts to come, Karun Chandok.
Yeah, I mean, it's still good enough to do a standing start, which is what we all want to see. There's Norris weaving around, trying to get the last bits of temperature into the front tyres. He'll try and put a lot of energy through the brakes as well, because when you park up and he's just sitting there, he wants the heat from the brakes to just radiate up through the wheel rim and into the inside bulk of the tyre. So there'll be lots of stop-starts as well, and a few burnouts to get temperature into the rears. But the start, Crofty, massively critical here.
Lando Norris in place then, 5th pole in the last 7 Grand Prix. Fred Vasseur smiling from the Ferrari pit wall. He's got one driver in the pit lane, one driver, Charles Leclerc, just getting into his vacant spot now. Fernando Alonso has a vacant spot of Alex Albon's ahead of him to drive nicely through. Zhou Guanyu, slowest in qualifying for the 8th consecutive race, will be at the back of this grid as we look then from car 22, 3rd on the grid, Yuki Tsunoda. Highest start by a Japanese driver in a long, long time, since the days of Kamui Kobayashi. There's the green flag.
All right.
We're all ready to go here.
3, 4, 5. Lights out, and away we go here at Interlagos. Now reduced to 70 laps. George Russell leads in a turn 1. Of course, Lando still can't lead on lap 1. 3 wide in a turn 2. Ooh. It's Tsunoda or Lawson in 3rd. Man, you can see all the water on the track as they're skirting down.
So he's going to try and steam down the inside. Fernando Alonso does steam down the inside and go wheel to wheel with Oscar Piastri. This is brilliant racing. Alonso then gets squeezed by the RB. Piastri gets the place back again.
Brilliant clean racing. It looked like everyone made it through.
Everyone's still going this far. Oh, here's a move around the outside by Lewis Hamilton, I think, on Gasly, or trying to. Oh, some cars shaking a little bit in the wets. No, in the wet, not the wets.
There's a battle ensuing there, but out in front, George Russell leads Lando Norris, leads Yuki Tsunoda and Esteban Ocon, Charles Leclerc.
Tsunoda is the car in 3rd. Ooh! Bottas fighting Magnus, or Behrman. Ah, we got a spin! Checo!
And has he managed to get back on the track? Yes. Well done, Sergio Perez. That could have got stuck in the mud very, very easily.
Red Bull's day not going well at all. George Russell.
Max is up to 11th.
From Lando Norris up in the front, over a second now in between them. Liam Lawson got a bit greedy, trying to get around the outside of Tsunoda. Ended up having to check himself and lost to the Ferrari.
Man, I can barely damn see. Here's Max Verstappen on the inside of Lewis Hamilton for 10th place and gets it.
And up into 10th place. Verstappen started 17th on the grid. He's made up 7 places by the first corner on lap 2.
Hamilton's got no confidence, Dofty. Absolutely no confidence on the brake. It was just so easy.
I mean, he hasn't liked his car all weekend.
And he's already broken away a few car lengths.
George Russell, much more positive start. Lando Norris, a little tentative off the line. And the Mercedes out in front by over a second already. Yuki Tsunoda holding off Esteban Ocon, who's under pressure from Charles Leclerc. Liam Lawson under pressure from Oscar Piastri. And we're on board now with Lewis Hamilton, struggling for grip.
Now, no DRS, which could be critical here.
Now ahead of him and in the points.
Yeah, it just, at no point in the qualifying session earlier, in these conditions, did Lewis look comfortable with the car. That's carried on. His teammate up at the front, though, has got confidence again on this lap. quicker than Norris through the first 2 sectors. The gap now nearly 2 seconds.
Long, long way to go in what will be a 70-lap race, not 71, because we had an extra formation lap, and George Russell leads it on the track where he gained his first Formula One victory. And you can see the spray from behind that Mercedes that Lando Norris was
racing is
into
always
until he
better
moved out to
in the
the
wet.
right-hand side.
You have much less control.
In that top 3 then. Ocon ahead of Leclerc. Lawson,
So
there goes Fernando Alonso ahead of
it
Gasly.
boils down to driver's
Max
skill
Verstappen
way
leading,
more.
but not a huge amount
Is that
on Pierre
Hülkenberg?
Gasly.
Oh!
There's Ollie Behrman
Almost.
under pressure from his teammate Nico Hülkenberg. The two
Oh, it's still
Masses
Behrman in
running
13th,
13th
okay.
and 14th.
I think Lewis has now got his tyres up to the temperature and pressure that he would like. His confidence is coming back. He's now dragging himself onto the back of Verstappen. But the Inter has battled Crofty. Pretty good turning down towards Interlagos.
Heavy rain in sector 3.
Heavy rain in the final sector of the lap.
Which will be a relief to those whose intermediate tyres are starting to overheat a bit. And already George Russell has been told, find some water, try and cool down those intermediate tyres. Well, there might be some natural cooling coming from the skies in a few moments' time as we get into sector 3. We'll see how it looks. We're on board now with Charles Leclerc making his way to Bico de Pato, corner number 10. 50 miles
Russell,
an
the
hour.
fastest lap at
Then the
125,
track shuts down
8.8.
Through Maguglio, the dive towards Junsao, and then they get back on the power.
I don't know
All
any of the
straight once
corner
again, and
names.
This is where the conditions are getting just that little bit heavier, and you can see the grey skies, darker grey skies, over to your right-hand side, and you'll see the spray now that the Ferrari will have to drive into. Charles Leclerc behind Esteban Ocon.
Best lap, Norris.
It's like driving down the motorway without your windscreen wipers going in a rainstorm, and you do not want to do that. And if it wasn't for the blinking lights of the Alpine in front, Charles Leclerc wouldn't know where Esteban Ocon is.
No DRS in these conditions, so the drivers are having to just use the old school slipstream to draw themselves up to the car in front. So Norris doing it.
Max radio.
So Max, this increased rain intensity will last around 2 or 3 minutes.
Okay, so just a short
That's
sharp
not.
shower
Yeah,
here. Norris doing a fastest lap of a 25.4, Crofty. That is a little bit slower than he did in Q3, so the conditions not far away from when they ended qualifying.
Current gap, 9.5 seconds. Lando Norris in second, down to Max Verstappen in 10th. Let's go to Sky Race Control and Bernie Collins.
Yeah, so I was just going to add to Corinne's point there. Obviously, the much heavier cars now, so around 3 seconds of that lap time could be attributed purely to the fuel. To pick up on Verstappen's point, what he was told about the rain, this heavier intensity is short, but then there's still light rain behind. So I'm expecting consistent rain for a significant amount.
Yellow flag, sector 2. Behrman is falling back a couple spots.
Who's gone off, whoever it was, went back onto the track very, very quickly afterwards as we ride on board with Max Verstappen. It was Ollie Behrman who went off the track, and he's dropped down into 17th place. So after scrapping away and keeping ahead of his teammate Nico Hülkenberg, first running for Ollie Behrman in the wet weather in a Formula One
New
car.
fastest lap,
He's dropped now down to
125.1 for
17th.
Lando.
Verstappen
His
crosses the line.
last lap that was a
17th place.
125.4.
Gaining, though, by a few lengths on Pierre Gasly.
But he's catching up.
Once again, down the inside at turn 1. There goes Max
Verstappen to
making
ninth
up
place.
another and he's up to 9th.
Yeah, he's
Seems
really,
like chicken
really
stuff.
got
I've had a sore
really
throat
good
since the morning,
commitment
so
and confidence, Crofty, on that
trying to
inside. When he
eat
gets on
some
the brakes,
lozenges.
it doesn't worry about the lock-up or understeering. Why? That Red Bull working well in these conditions. Here's a replay at the start. Watch Russell on the right-hand side. We didn't see this angle earlier. The initial getaway, actually, Norris probably got a better launch, but again, that second phase, when they start to put the power down, that George just leaped in front. Now watch, there's Lawson trying to go down the outside of Tsunoda, and he's there. He backed out of it too late, and that basically allowed Leclerc to just drive around the outside. Further back, watch Verstappen. Oh, look,
Verstappen had already got ahead of Sergio Perez going into turn 1. Here's the second phase now. This is where George Russell gets going. You can see the live shots on the left-hand side of your screen. And for all George Russell's good work at the start, Lando Norris is gaining on the last lap by half a second. And on this lap, he's gained by about half a second too. No DRS as yet, but he's very much in touch. Brilliant start by Verstappen. Clears the Haas. And now watch how he picks his way round the outside.
Yeah, he's looking for the grip at this stage. Just being patient as well. Not trying to get too greedy too early on. And now watch this. Squares it off. Uses the grip around the outside to out-drag the
Wow.
Wiggins, then the Sauber, and draws up alongside
That was
Lewis.
a great move by Max.
Let's have a little look here. Sergio
There's Checo's
Perez,
spin.
being spun around.
He did it on his own.
Yeah.
He was just touched the inside white line, and that kicked the rear of the car around. So Lando has now got a gap of 3.3 over Yuki Tsunoda, and he's right on the back of George Russell.
And Max Verstappen's gained another place, this time on Fernando
Max
Alonso. He's gone
Alonso.
from 17th up to 8th, and we're on lap 60 of 70 here. And an incident involving Ollie Bearman and Franco Colapinto has been noted for causing a collision. Bearman down into 16th place currently, and just ahead of Sergio Perez and Joe Guan Yu. No Alex Albon in the race. Lance Stroll is out. And some updates here. A starting procedure infringement for George Russell, Yuki Tsunoda and Liam Lawson.
What?
Along with Lando Norris, who's already under investigation by the stewards. So it isn't just the one who went first,
Yeah.
it's the others that followed
Damn.
him. that all might
Really?
get
Come
penalties
on.
too.
Yeah, I think that's right. I think they've all done the same thing. So, you know, you've got to dish out the same punishment for the same crime. So we'll see. We'll see how that unfolds. You know, what these drivers are hoping is that gets added on at the pit stop, I think, early on, right? You want to get this done early on, because then if you get a safety car late or something, you can effectively make that time back up.
Right, Oscar Piastri.
New fastest
is
lap,
ahead
Verstappen,
now.
a 1:24.3.
Verstappen
Good
is,
lord.
Gaining on him. It was around about 9/10 of a second faster on the last lap, as he managed to get past Fernando Alonso and up into 8th place. Norris could do with Piastri holding Verstappen up here, because so far no one seems to be able to do that. Max is driving superbly well, and for McLaren and their championship chances, and for Lando Norris and his chance in the Drivers' Championship, he rather needs his teammate to give him a hand here.
Verstappen's absolutely flying here. Fastest
Bearman,
lap
Colapinto.
last time round, a full 9/10 faster than Piastri, and even on this current lap, Prof, he's already gone another half second into that gap.
On board with Pierre Gasly, currently in 10th
All right.
place. And
New York
gaining
City
on
Marathon
Fernando
just
Alonso
ended,
and the
so
Aston Martin, ahead of him.
let's see. Maybe the
Whilst
cover
those
will
two
switch to the
battle away,
TV.
George Russell
No, I can watch
leads
there.
Lando Norris towards the line once more. Norris had got to about 7/10 behind George Russell. He's just dropped back a little bit in the last couple of laps.
Verstappen's pace, in contrast to Hamilton, is quite stark, isn't it? They were together on the first lap. But Max has passed 2 more cars and pulled away nearly 5 seconds now. So it's there's a real struggle going on in that number 44 cockpit.
He is the fastest man on the track, Max Verstappen, currently. Faster too than George Russell, the race leader. And look how they're all hunting for a little bit of cool stuff, bit of water, a few puddles to splosh through and keep these tyres under control. These intermediate tyres overheat quite significantly when the track starts to dry out, but we're nowhere near, surely, slick tyres as yet. Bernie Collins, you might know the answer to that.
I was waiting for the question there, Crofty, but yes, I think we're not on slick tyres at this stage. One of the reasons you maybe could do it, you maybe could survive on a qualifying lap, but you cannot overtake offline on any of the damp conditions with slick tyres here. And the final thing, just quickly, I went through the Bearman on board just to see what that investigation was with Colapinto. I think Colapinto stopped a bit more.
I was probably told to defend for his life.
Bearman actually hit the back of him. So it wasn't, he was very, very close, trying to maybe line up for the overtake, but Colapinto just braked more than he expected.
Max Verstappen is right on the tail of Oscar Piastri. As I said, he's comfortably the fastest man on this 2.67-mile circuit currently. And he's got Oscar Piastri in his sights as Ollie Bearman gets a 10-second penalty for causing that
Bearman collision penalty.
Colapinto, and Max Verstappen's just a bit too far
Wait,
back
what?
for him going into turn 1.
Wait, did they say Bearman got the penalty?
Piastri. There's confirmation of that Bearman penalty that he'll serve when he comes into the pits for his first stop, whenever that might be in this race. Out of the curve of the Sol we go. And Max Verstappen is hunting down through the mist and spray Oscar Piastri towards Tessino de Lago we go.
Bearman's the one who lost out. Isn't that punishment enough?
The longer that Piastri can keep Verstappen behind him, the better that is for Lando Norris, who can't quite get past George Russell yet, but is only about 9 seconds clear of Verstappen. When they started this race, there was Lando Norris in pole and Verstappen in 17th.
Verstappen's only 11 seconds off
So I guess
the
the
lead.
marathon's not over,
I
though
can't
we had the
imagine we're
women
gonna get through
winner.
this entire afternoon
They
without
got
safety cars.
1.6
So
miles to
he
go,
is
looks like.
100% not out of contention for a win here.
The ride is really bad. Car bouncing so much.
Well, Hamilton, as you picked up, really
Porpoising.
struggling out there. Carlos Sainz struggling too, saying he just can't get past Valtteri Bottas in the Sauber, for whom, by the way, their chief operating officer, Mattia Binotto, turns 55 today. Car number
Russell
55
sets the new
being
fastest
kept
lap,
at bay by the team
124.2.
managed by the guy who is 55. Kind of simples, really, when you look at it. Here comes Max Verstappen on Oscar Piastri. Piastri looks at his mirrors.
Max
Here
pulls
comes
out,
Verstappen.
makes the pass.
The ball was open from Oscar Piastri.
Wow.
And Max Verstappen just walked straight through without invitation.
He came from so far
Great
back.
defense,
I don't think
Oscar.
Oscar expected
What the
him
heck?
to come from that much of a distance, but Max has just got, as I was saying before, this tremendous confidence into the Senna S under braking on the inside line, and it's so hard to describe properly. It takes feel. You need to be able to have the judgment under your left
Next up
foot.
for Max is
When
Lawson.
you get on the brakes, any hint of a lockup, any hint of an under rotation, to feel that and dovetail it with how you turn the steering wheel. It is so impressive to see how far back he was to get through there.
This is why Ollie Behrman's got a penalty, and the door was kind of open for him. The Franco Colapinto struggling away, but the door was not open at point of contact.
Ollie, we have a 10-second penalty for the collision with Colapinto.
Right. He didn't even lose any time.
Yeah, but you ran into the back of him.
Yeah, but I mean, I kind of understand.
Wasn't the spin bad enough?
Happened to Colapinto.
True, unless there is a bit of damage, that is. There goes Max Verstappen. And if Oscar Piastri wasn't expecting it, I'm surprised nobody from the pit wall didn't warn him that
Max
he should be
setting the
expecting it,
next
because
fastest
that's
lap.
The third time he's pulled off that move in this race so far, and they've all been from a fairly long way back. And he is, as I say, comfortably the quickest man on the track.
Helmut Marko's got to be on the phone to the RB pit wall, hasn't he? Max Verstappen weaving around, maybe just trying to send a message to Liam Lawson. Hey, I'm behind you. New fastest lap.
I think he's also trying to cool the tyres a little bit as well. He's hunting for a bit of wet stuff there. What does Liam Lawson do? Now, he can be compliant and let Max Verstappen through, or he can hold him up and defend and show Helmut Marko just how good he is defending in a race car. Well, look at that. He's left the door open. So I think that rather answers the question.
Max took 6.
Yeah, Helmut, do you mind if I just let Max through?
Do you remember what happened in Mexico when he was less compliant with the Red Bull car?
Yeah, that was the other Red Bull.
Yeah, I think he got hauled into the headmaster's office for a little chat after the race.
God.
Yeah, that was a very compliant.
We're on lap 11 now.
There.
Oh,
So
no,
here we
I
go.
gotta-
We're going to see Verstappen's pace now. He's got free air behind Charles Leclerc. 2.7 seconds, the gap between them.
Ted Kravitz. Down to
Yeah,
you.
just looking down.
Russell
to the,
fastest
Ferrari
lap
pit wall,
again.
That's going to come down quite quickly.
Yellow
'cause
flag.
Leclerc is struggling, like Sainz, to make progress.
Oh, is that
Esteban
Hamilton?
Ocon. Oh, yeah, we got a yellow flag.
We got a double yellow because Lewis Hamilton went off. Jun Sao once
Now
again,
he
and Hamilton
lost
has
the
rejoined
position.
with Franco Colapinto, Ted, at full pelt right behind him here. You've got Lewis Hamilton, vastly experienced, 7 world championships. Franco Colapinto on the hunt, and he might just go down the inside here. And the Argentine of the Williams is going to try just that. Wheel to wheel with Lewis
Colapinto.
Hamilton. Through the center S's. Hamilton trying
Oh,
to
he
get
gets
the
it.
inside line through
Or
the
does he?
second bar.
Yes, he does.
Colapinto sticks with that. The Brazilian crowd love it.
And the South American driver receives the approval of the crowd.
The new favourite, Franco Colapinto, and Argentina win.
Nothing wrong with that, Williams. If I was the Haas and Ollie Behrman pitbull, I will be feeling a little bit annoyed about my penalty.
Right, and there goes Ollie Behrman, gets past Valtteri Bottas, who's really struggling out there, and Sergio Perez, who's been struggling to get past for a while, says, yeah, I'll take a bit of that as well. So we're starting to see tyres go off here. People struggling for grip. Certainly Hamilton was struggling for grip there. The crowd at turn 1 absolutely love that moment. Franco Colapinto, very popular man around here. Ted Kravitz, he's probably the only man that can silence you.
Well, the crowd right next to your commentary box. Ole, 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 Franco, saying the Argentine crowd. So they're absolutely loving it down there. Yeah, just finished that. Leclerc's in trouble with his tyres, trying to keep them cool, really struggling. He's going to be defenceless, I think, against Verstappen in a lap or two.
Right, this is Lewis Hamilton going off, as we saw what happened as he lost a place and dropped down to 13th. This isn't great news for Lando Norris and the rest of those that went off the line at the when the start was aborted and decided to not wait around on the grid, because the starting procedure infringement is going to be investigated after the race.
Why?
So there's a chance that if they do get a penalty, they can serve it during the race. It's all going to happen after the race.
I get that in some ways. You know, we all want to know
Why?
what the result is.
Why are you waiting?
On the
It needs
podium.
to be the right result.
Correct. And on this occasion, I think because it's unprecedented, I think they need to hear from the drivers and they need to hear from the team managers.
Correct.
So I think, and obviously we can't interview them, or the stewards can't interview them during the race. So I think on this occasion, it is the right thing to investigate afterwards.
Liam Lawson now has Oscar Piastri for company. This is how it looks in the Drivers' Championship currently.
I expect this rain till lap 30.
30.
With the gap down to 35 points, but there is rain. It is intensifying, and we've got it for about another 16 minutes or so.
And Verstappen, roughly the previous lap, 1.3 seconds faster than Charles Leclerc. On this lap, 4/10. But he's right on the back of him. Leclerc, though, I think is a bit bottled up now. He's stuck behind Esteban Ocon, who is in turn stuck, I think, behind Yuki Tsunoda.
2016, if you remember that race where Verstappen was in scintillating, red-hot form in the wet here in Interlagos, went from 14th to 3rd in the space of 14 laps. We're on lap 14, and he's gone from 17th on the grid to 6th, and he is now right up behind Charles Leclerc.
He's just dropped Piastri like a hot potato, isn't he? Piastri's struggling to get past. And this is Sergio Perez.
And this will be the moments that he comes.
Wow, he passed the guy for six. Oh,
that was almost rubbing wheels.
Nope.
Might have been
he
rubbing
didn't
wheels.
make the
with
pass.
Ollie
He
Bear.
almost got wrecked.
Very, very close there, but Perez bailing out of it. Right, Verstappen's now joined the train in the battle for 3rd place, so I can see him getting himself into a podium position fairly soon here.
He's got the benefit, Max Verstappen, of having new intermediate tyres. Others maybe had used their allocation during the course of the qualifying session. If it's new intermediates for Max Verstappen, you can understand why he's probably finding that little bit more grip to go hand in hand with the grip that he finds here in the wet.
Yeah, no, unquestionably. So what is interesting to me, Crofty, is that the gap between Verstappen and the lead is still under 11 seconds. So this gaggle of cars, despite the fact they're all quite close together and kind of racing each other, they're not actually dropping away much more from the leaders anymore. So Verstappen in the last 7 or 8 laps hasn't actually dropped off any further from George Russell.
No, he hasn't. To be fair, still that same gap. Lewis Hamilton's coming back, by the way, for another moment with Franco Colapinto, and Hamilton's gaining on Colapinto down the back straight towards turn 4 as that rivalry resumes once again. And there's a super move from Colapinto to get past Lewis Hamilton a couple of laps ago, and he's now keeping him at bay. Carlos Sainz is joining that to make it a 3-way scrap as we can ride on board with Hamilton through Ferragura. There was almost a gap, and Hamilton was driving into it. Colapinto closed it. Don't often get past on that particular piece of asphalt here in Interlagos. Out in front, the gap between Russell and Norris has been maintained at about 1 second currently. So Norris in touch, but not making the impression on this race that he would have been hoping for.
I wonder if Max is going to have a couple of laps here to just cool the tyres down, charge the battery back up, and just let things settle a little bit as Hamilton has a snap of oversteer on the inside curve.
And the Williams as well, ahead of him, Franco Colapinto in what is his 6th Grand Prix in Formula 1, his first taste of a Formula 1 car in the wet. You can just see the blinking lights that Lewis Hamilton is driving towards. The Williams is pretty handy in a straight line here, and no DRS, of course, to try and help the cars behind make an overtake. And Hamilton has to stay down in 13th once again and hope for a better exit off the Curva de Sol and down the Retroposta.
Here the marathon just ended.
To get the time.
For the men's side, at least.
Car lengths behind Charles Leclerc, who for one little instant thought Ocon was vulnerable.
Yeah, I just struggling to overtake so slow at the straight.
Well, they've gone for the Austin Mexico wing, have McLaren puts the higher side of downforce on, which would explain why he's a bit slower on the straight, but that should be helping his tyres through the corner, so he might get the benefits later in the race.
Yeah, I'm a little bit surprised. Actually, DRS hasn't yet been enabled, but the spray doesn't seem too bad anymore. We'll have a look here, riding inside Max Verstappen's helmet.
See the water dripping down the visor.
The spray coming behind, but maybe it's because we're expecting more rain in the near future. As Leclerc all over the back of Ocon actually into turn 1, but doesn't have a look.
Well, Ocon is sticking to this task well, and we haven't really mentioned him in this race so far, and we should mention Yuki Tsunoda too, because Yuki Tsunoda is just very much holding his own, very nicely in third place. In the podium places currently, Esteban Ocon behind him, and neither look that vulnerable to a charge behind from a Ferrari and then the Red Bull. The rain is coming. There is heavier rain coming in this race. And if it is worse than qualifying yesterday, then prepare yourself for a red flag, because there's no way they'd have raced in that.
No, definitely not. So
the visibility was the big problem.
Right. So we're getting to about the quarter distance mark now, aren't we? So there's still a long way to go in this Grand Prix. But it feels like this train of cars are kind of stuck behind Yuki Tsunoda, aren't they? Nobody's able to really get the move. They've sort of gone in this follow the leader, you know, just train for the last 6 laps now.
Well, do you remember last year in the dry when Fernando Alonso held off Sergio Perez for around about 25 laps at the end? You know, you place your car in the right spot here defensively.
Not much has happened for the last couple of laps. No positions have changed.
Did just that.
Yeah, and now this is costing Max time. He's, you know, relative to these two cars up at the front, it's now cost him just over a second. So he's now got to that point where he's in the dirty air, and it does affect the cars, of course, in the wet as it does in the dry. And yeah, he's got to now try and find a way to get ahead of the pack.
There's the leader, and there's the man in second place, who's on the charge a bit on this lap.
This has been a good lead battle, nice and close.
Out of George Russell's lead.
It's getting slippery with these worn tyres in the wet here.
And is that what George Russell is finding, who before today led 20 laps in Canada, where he finished third? It's the most laps he's led in a race since then. Remember, he finished first on the road in Spa, and then was disqualified for being underweight in the car. And he's out there at the moment, leading this Sao Paulo Grand Prix. Lando Norris is coming back at it, although Russell's had a much better middle sector than Lando Norris. Now on the blast, 1.2 kilometers towards the first corner, and out of Jun Sao, George Russell's got a nice gap between himself and Lando Norris, who will hope for a better first sector than he got last time around, and then to try and keep pace in the middle bit, and then make an overtake charge. That's what he's looking for, but it's easier said than done, as you can see how the McLaren car getting affected by the turbulent wake of the Mercedes in front. Bernie Collins, let's head to you.
Yeah, so just
well, signs by Lewis Hamilton. Something freaking happened.
The big decision point for these teams is coming up. As we heard Hulkenberg there say, these tyres are quite worn. We've got about 5 minutes now of less rain, and then behind that, heavier rain than we had in qualifying this morning. That heavier rain, I think, is not survivable on these worn inters.
We think the time might become slick to medium in maybe 6 or 7 laps or so. We need to get to the rain and then make the right time when to stop.
And at that point, is the rain only another inter, or
Behrman
is it full wet? That's
by Hamilton.
And they have got a lot of very qualified people to try and help them make it. Meanwhile, doing it for themselves, the driver's out on track, and Ollie Behrman has got past Lewis Hamilton. Carlos Sainz has got past Lewis Hamilton too. He's up into 13th, and Hamilton continues to struggle in that Mercedes car. We can see him behind Franco Colapinto. This towards Jun Sao.
Oh, he locked up the outside front. He locked up the right front. He was on the white line and then just locked up the right front and slid wide and just opened the door. There, watch there. Yeah. And Sainz did need a second invitation. But then he's again lost the place to Behrman on the next straight, isn't he?
And here comes Ollie Behrman down the Retroposta. Lewis Hamilton not giving him much space, but giving him enough. And Behrman, fair play to him, down the inside there, making up the places that he lost when he hit Franco Colapinto, and went back 6 places or so. He's certainly getting some overtaking done here, but down in 14th currently. His teammate Nico Hulkenberg down in 11th. Fernando Alonso has the last points place in 10th behind Pierre Gasly. Oscar Piastri still behind Liam Lawson. Max Verstappen behind Charles Leclerc, behind Esteban Ocon, and behind Yuki Tsunoda. These 4 cars separated by about 2 seconds on the track. Norris a second behind George Russell, as Carlos Sainz now has Franco Colapinto in his sights, as he's finally starting to make some moves through the field. He's struggled and really struggled for pace in the early stages, our winner last time out in Mexico.
Car's on drive a little bit. Rocking up, bouncing everywhere.
Understood. See the sparks, can't you, coming off the bottom of that Mercedes all the way down that straight towards the Interlagos, and you don't see that really from the other cars as much. So it's just sort of dragging along.
We're looking at Sainz. He's trying to pass Colapinto for 12.
Especially when they go to the middle of the track.
He's almost going into this race trying to fight off every other driver with one arm tied behind his back, technically.
That's what it's going to feel like to him, I'm sure.
Yeah.
In the cockpit with the
Also,
pace he's got.
Pierre
Here
Gasly
comes
passed
Carlos.
Fernando
I think this
Alonso at
could
some
be
point.
his opportunity as we get up to the CNS.
But he might have to come from a long way back here, because as we mentioned, that Williams is pretty handy in a straight line. Here comes Carlos Sainz. Is this the smooth operation that he's looking for? No. He's far enough behind, but Colapinto had that covered.
Did they remove another lap?
But just that little bit later on the brakes, there was a chance to get past, but Ted Kravitz, you know how difficult it is to pick your braking zone into a big, heavy braking zone on a Formula One track and a Formula One car.
No idea, Crofty, but I can tell you that George Russell is also struggling on the brakes. So Mercedes seem to have some kind of brake problem on both
They must
cars.
have removed another lap.
That he can't stop the car, and Russell saying that it's split. There's an imbalance between left and right. So it hasn't meant that Norris has been able to close. In fact, if anything, Russell's now from a second pulled 1.8 seconds on Norris. So George is dealing with that brake issue.
I love how they have a graphic.
69-lap race. It said 70 on your graphic. Confirmation that it is a 69-lap race.
I love that 69.
Maybe the message has got out to Max Verstappen that you've got one less lap to do some overtaking. It might be a good time to do it. Here he comes. Charles Leclerc has got the
outside. I was Max trying to, and he get around Charles. Oh no, denied.
So by the time the track swings right, he stays ahead of that Red Bull. That was Charles Leclerc knowing exactly where Max Verstappen was going to go and defending it from a long way out. Into the Interlagos we go, and Leclerc stays in 5th place.
Yeah, he did exactly the right thing. Didn't go too far to the inside, so he would have compromised his own run through the CNS. But far over here comes Max into Ferradura.
Max going again. No, Leclerc defends again.
For Charles Leclerc.
It would have been a big, bold move if he tried to do it into that one, and
He was squeezing me up.
Oh, shut up.
Leaving a car switch.
I think it was fair enough, to be honest. I mean, you know, Max wasn't fully alongside at that. Oh, he had a snap of oversteer.
He did. And while that happens, Carlos Sainz has dropped back behind Lewis Hamilton. He's had a moment out on the
You gotta be
on the track.
Russell and Hamilton under investigation for changing tire pressures on the grid after the 10-minute warning. Really?
Is Max Verstappen a bit too far back on this occasion to be a challenge to Charles Leclerc?
Gotta be-
And
you're
it
kidding me,
looks
right?
like it, because that snap you were talking about has cost him. And look at the clouds hovering away over Sao Paulo in the distance, blowing their way towards the circuit.
Yeah, it's coming. It's definitely not. You can see it's visibly darker as they come over that the final sector off the lap. I wonder if Sainz had a little bit of a thing with Colapinto, because he was very close behind him, and he's obviously now dropped back behind Behrman and Hamilton.
Yeah, Colapinto down in 12th place. Has Ollie Behrman closing in on him. Is your question going to be answered? There's the Williams in front of the Ferrari. And Ferrari, does he think about trying to get
just
out
locked
Oh!
Just locked up the
Sainz went off completely.
Sit off wide. This is Hamilton's view of the rejoining Ferrari.
Sainz back to
There's just enough space to drive
the
into there.
15th.
Probably a ray of sunshine on what has not been a brilliant afternoon for Lewis Hamilton. Oh, Yuki Tsunoda sliding around in the midfield and through turn 10. Pico de Pato And Esteban Ocon almost thought there was a chance. Liam Lawson is under pressure now from Oscar Piastri in the battle for 7th place. Max Verstappen is a little bit closer to Charles Leclerc than he was on the last lap, and somewhere over Felipe's mother, it is mothers is absolutely hosing it down here, and drivers are saying now might be a good time to change tyres, but you want to wait until the right possible moment to do that. As across the line goes Tsunoda, then comes Ocon, then comes Leclerc, then comes Verstappen, and still these 4 remain in that order.
I think when you make the call to go from the intermediate to the full wet, it's the driver that needs to make that call. The driver needs to be saying to the pit wall, I think it's too tricky in these conditions. I don't think it's safe enough. I don't think it's quick enough on this tyre. They need to be able to feel these conditions. But who is going to make that first call? Because they could make absolute seconds on the outlap if they made it the right time.
And the thing is, you're the race leader, you're Lando Norris, you don't want to make that call if it's the wrong call, because you're going to lose a heap of places, even if you are switching on to grippier tyres.
I would use Perez.
It's bizarre. Like, I mean, people are slipping around, and no one's really able to pass anyone. Like, once Max caught up to Leclerc, and this train, we've seen zilch.
Once again, Esteban Ocon.
Like, Ocon can't pass Tsunoda, Leclerc can't pass Ocon, Verstappen can't pass Leclerc, and Norris can't pass Russell. And at least, but you know what? At least he has some nice battles, which is.
This high and has never stood on the podium before in Formula 1 in his 83.
I think Lando will be able to make the move next to Leclerc into the pits.
Looks to me like the Ferrari of Charles Leclerc coming into the pits. It is. So Ferrari have made the first call here and have decided now is the time to switch to Charles Leclerc.
Talking about intermediates or wets.
The rain is coming
putting
down.
on more inters.
Intermediate tyres going on for Charles Leclerc. And Bernie Collins at race control,
and
our friendly strategist, is looking bewildered.
The friendliest strategist, hopefully.
Look, it appears that from what I can tell from my friends, they think it's a bad call to put on the inners as opposed to the wets. Leclerc comes out in 11th position.
We know the wet tyre isn't as strong as the drivers would like on this car, so they hold on to the intermediate for a little bit longer. Let's watch his outlap time, but the heavy rain is right on us now, so let's get the feedback.
So would you have done that, Bernie? Would you have just waited for the heavy rain to then make a call?
What happened to
whether you go to the wets? Because if he does another stop, that's another 23 seconds.
Yeah, he can't afford to do another stop. I think the thinking of the Ferrari pit wall might be, if you can survive these few minutes of this heavier rain, hold on to that intermediate, then he doesn't have to switch from wet to inter.
Box. For what reason? Don't do as a box to overtake too much traffic.
No, it's just starting to rain a lot. If you don't want me to box, I'll stay out.
We think this tyre is going to be okay for a bit. We prefer to stay out.
It's right. You remember that race at Zandvoort at the opening stages where we had the deluge. Some were on the intermediates and some were on the slick tyres, and those on the slick suffered, but then made up when those intermediate runners had to pit. At the moment, that seems to be the sort of game that we're playing here. If you can stay out and survive and stop yourself from having to pit.
Yellow.
Okay.
Oh!
There goes the RB of Liam Lawson.
Lawson, okay.
Off the track.
The 30 car. He
falls
falls back. Hulkenberg also pits. Lawson falls back to 9th place.
Just looking at where Charles has come out, Crofty, he's come out in that little pack around Lewis Hamilton here. So I'm not sure he has fell out into a bit of traffic. We're not seeing the sectors light up either on his outlap. So I don't know. It's we'll see how it plays out once the rain starts building up more.
Hulkenberg
much
comes
closer
out.
to George Russell on this lap than he has been for some time. Lawson down to 9th place. That means Piastri's got a bit of free air behind Pierre Gasly. Verstappen's got free air now behind Esteban Ocon.
Not necessarily free air.
Pitted, and here we go through the spray. There's your race leader, George Russell, on lap 27 of 69. Lando Norris behind him. Towards the first corner we go, Norris still behind. And further back on the main straight, Max Verstappen can see the blinking lights ahead of him of Esteban Ocon in the Alpine, but he's not making the impression in a straight line on that car, and you can see how much heavier the rain is getting now.
Wow.
Down the back straight.
Yeah, Charles, I don't think the inners were a good idea.
Teaming it down out there.
Yeah, the lap times are a second and a half slower than it was just a handful of laps ago. And Russell's the one who's in a tricky position. He's on the voyage of discovery. He's the one hitting the conditions first. And therefore, look at this. Norris can
Collision between Oscar Piastri and Liam Lawson.
Where he can get the grip.
Colapinto on the pit road.
Follow the tyre tracks of George Russell.
Pitted for a new tyre. He went into traffic and cannot clear it.
Yeah, he's stuck behind Lewis Hamilton currently. That could be a really, really unfortunate move for Ferrari, who thought they were doing the right thing. But
Yellow flag, sector 1.
Hulkenberg goes off at the first corner in the Haas. And it looks like he's stranded.
Oh,
in the
come on.
area,
Hulkenberg
not moving. There
is
he
not moving. His two of his tires aren't on the ground. Hulkenberg is out of the race.
Something as Esteban Ocon gets past Yuki Tsunoda and moves
Ocon to the
place, and somehow
podium
is
position.
accelerating as fast as he possibly can down the straight and can barely see 20 feet in front of him. George Russell leads from Norris into the yellow flag zone we go. No overtaking going on here. Esteban Ocon ahead of Yuki
Hulkenberg
Tsunoda.
is out of the race.
Once again, fastest man on the track, finding grip out there, and we've got a virtual safety car to clear away Nico Hulkenberg's Haas, which is going absolutely nowhere. The race gets neutralized, and now is that the time to come into the pit lane, because you lose so much less time under a virtual safety car. Yes, it is. Oscar Piastri first on the scene.
Piastri, Alonso in the pit road.
Yeah, and Fernando Alonso following in. Look, all sorts of people running out into the pit lane, Ted.
It's getting really busy down here, so Oscar Piastri gets out. It's still into the
More
even
inters
though it is
for
absolutely
Piastri.
so Alonso and Piastri so
Actually,
far.
Colapinto
Now
took
Haas
them
on
too. I think so did
Behrman.
Hulkenberg.
Even though it is chucking it down, they don't think it's wet
Behrman,
enough before
Hamilton,
it's just yet.
Sainz
They'll see what
to
happens
pit
if
road.
the race director decides to red flag it. Talking about the race director,
Checo on pit
some of
road.
these guys adjusted their tyre pressures on the second formation grid. That's against a technical directive, and they've been reported to the stewards. So trouble ahead. Oh, Checo has put the full wets on.
Yeah.
Checo's put the full
Checo
wets on.
on the
So
wet
both
tires.
Russell, the race leader, Crofting, and Lewis Hamilton have been reported to the stewards for adjusting their tyre pressures on the second grid.
Triple header in the Americas, and the stewards might still be in this part of the world by the time we get to Vegas in a couple of weeks.
He's going.
Charles Leclerc has moved
Hulkenberg
up
is
into
back in
8th
action,
place.
so I guess he's not out of the race,
Again.
but he's probably a
George
lap, close to
Russell
a lap
saying
down.
it's red flag conditions out there at the moment. That is not the view. It seems
VSC is ending.
The safety car is now ending as George Russell comes into the pits and Lando Norris comes into the pits.
So what do Ocon, Tsunoda, and Verstappen do here? Because look, it is absolutely chucking it down.
Green flag. Oh my God.
Stay out and think if it's a red flag, they'll get track position. Let's keep an eye out here. Ocon's come past the commentary box.
He leads the race.
Both of them took inters. Ocon is leading.
Yuki Tsunoda is pitting.
Yuki to pit road.
Virtual safety car ending at the wrong time for Russell and Norris.
Oh my God.
That they were going to get a cheap pit stop out of this. That is not the way that it is turned out. Ocon and Verstappen move up.
Let's see who ends up in third.
Russell will come out in third place ahead of Lando Norris.
Lawson on the pit road.
Fourth and fifth behind Pierre Gasly.
Look at the rain coming down. The conditions are so wet.
Damn.
And Perez is
I can't even see anything. My God.
Now this might play into Sergio Perez's hands, as we'll see what unfolds with the conditions, but at the moment it's a case of those on the intermediates. You've just
All right, who's going to get to 6? Leclerc or Tsunoda?
Unless they really had to make that stop, made the wrong call with Lando Norris.
Perez, Crofty, has made 7 seconds on Behrman in the first 2 sectors of the lap on the wet tyres with just, we see.
That's Oscar Piastri and Liam Lawson.
Yeah.
Tsunoda on the wet tires.
The right tire, you will make seconds. Well,
Oh my God.
Like,
how would you not pick the wet tires at this point?
Let's keep an eye on Tsunoda. He's on his out lap at the moment. We'll see what his sectors come up with.
10-second
Hulkenberg's back on pit road, obviously.
Lots of
Checo passes Behrman.
Just undrivable currently. And I have to say, for most of us mere mortals, it totally...
Piastri penalty, 10 seconds for a collision with Liam Lawson.
In his career, third time in his career, is leading a Formula One Grand Prix. And on one of the previous 2, he went on and won it. And he's got Max Verstappen, the man he tangled with here at Interlagos all those years ago, right behind him.
Yeah, and he's opened the gap. Look, I mean, 1 minute 40 last lap.
Oh my God, 16. Wait, also wait.
Seconds slower
Hold
17
on.
seconds slower than the fastest lap of the race.
And 5 seconds faster than Max Verstappen. And by the way,
Wait.
Pierre Gasly's now running in
I have
third
no
place.
audio on the
top three
TV.
haven't stopped in this race. Alpine, after
8.2
really awful
what?
season for the Edstone team, are running 1 and
Safety
3
car.
here in Interlagos on lap 30 of 69. Well, you're
This is getting
tiptoeing
on the
through
edge.
here.
This is getting on the edge here.
But Lando
Why?
Norris is going for the move on George Russell.
Lando
Russell
passes
going
George
so
Russell like
slowly,
I gotta
but
catch
Lando
up.
Norris thinks, no, I can make the move, I can get stopped in time, and I can put my car up in the 4th place. Finally, he has got past George Russell. Trouble is for Lando Norris, 3 others passed them when these 2 went into the pits.
Yeah, but that's a net race lead, really, because Norris...
Safety cars deployed now.
All right. Well, a 7-second lead was completely obliterated by a safety car.
On those intermediate tyres that he's had on right from the start, and I dare say he's going to come into the pits here and get rid of those to put on. Well, instead of what? No, he's not. But I suppose the thing is, what tyres do you put on? It's looking.
Stay on the well, well.
Where the weather has been coming in. So does he just want to? Yeah, he's just staying. Keep the temperature of these tyres. Keep out there. He's keeping track position. He's just thinking, I'll stay out there. I'll survive. Behind the safety car, I'll have clear visibility. I'm going to keep track.
This is why this is a wild race.
Stay out long enough for this massive rain shower to clear away. We'll have better conditions, and I have, 1-3 for Alpine.
Right, on board with Liam Lawson. This into turn 1. Banging wheels there.
Well, he's on the full wet. Yeah, he's on the full wet tyres. He's got
What the heck?
in these conditions.
Lawson just barging by Lewis Hamilton.
To be honest. So we got a safety car here, and a lot of drivers calling for a safety car. Did it ever get to a stage where
I don't even know why we have the safety car.
did it get to a stage where a red flag was possible, or should have been called, or the fact that the rain was blowing over and going away? Is that why racing control or safety cars failed?
I think the last point you made is right, which is they think as soon as you red flag a race, there's a whole set of procedures that need to happen, and it takes a lot of time. So I think what they've decided is let's have the safety car, let's get this immediate big shower just to go over the circuit, get away from here. Having the cars going around, of course, helps to drying out any of that standing water. There's a red flag, those cars are fine.
Colapinto on a pit road.
I think actually having a safety car just clearing that water away, having the cars clear the water away, is actually a sensible thing at the moment.
Right, let's do a little recap here. 10-second penalty for Oscar Piastri for causing a collision. 10-second penalty for Ollie Behrman for causing a collision. Under investigation for adjusting tyre pressures, the 2 Mercedes cars of George Russell and Lewis Hamilton. Under investigation for leaving the grid at the start. Lando Norris, who was on pole, George Russell, Liam Lawson, Yuki Tsunoda, and Charles Leclerc, I think, as well. I think that's the parish notices, Ted Kravitz, and all of those being investigated from the start will be investigated at the end of this race, whenever that might be.
Yes, Crofty, I'm still thinking about this Mercedes adjusting tyre pressures on the grid. I mean, Bernie, it's a no-no, isn't it? I mean, they've stated the technical delegate to get technical directive, TD, for this year, but it's a real no-no. I don't know how they're going to explain their way out.
Apparently, Ocon has led more laps today than Checo has led all season.
So I think
That is pathetic.
this is now not full wet conditions. It is easing up a little bit, brightened up massively, Crofty, here in the pit lane. And I think while it was for the last 3 or 4 minutes, Sergio Perez, Yuki Tsunoda, and the Haas that I just mentioned on the right tyre at that time, it's now the right tyre for intermediates.
Thank you, Ted.
Yeah, just to pick up on what Ted said, totally agree from the radar. It should clear off now for a little bit.
So I got up. Oh! Colapinto just wrecked himself.
I know we're behind the safety car, but this will be a red flag, and this
Well, Colapinto out. Red flag.
Max Verstappen and Pierre Gasly, who haven't pitted in this race yet. And there's your red flag. And Franco Colapinto had just been into the pits to change tyres. Goes off at a spot where we saw Giancarlo Fisichella in the past.
God damn. Well, Colapinto's out.
The Williams held up their position as P1 on that particular rank.
Damn.
Want to be part of, but first of all, let's hope and check that he is okay. He's moving around, and we just hear a collective groan from the Argentine fans below our commentary box. Here comes the safety car and the train of cars as Colapinto's getting out. So that's good to see him getting out unaided, and he's okay.
Max Verstappen's just radioed in to say my tyres are just like a boat. Well, they can get a new rudder in the pit lane. And with some superb driving, forcing his way into contention, and a red flag at just the right time, then Max Verstappen has gained a lot, not just in terms of places here, but in terms of 2 places over his championship rival. And well, no one ever wishes for a red flag because the driver's gone off, but this could not have worked out better. For Verstappen,
Bam!
it worked out worse.
Tire left side destroyed.
Another big accident for the Williams team, who've got a lengthy check to write out for the crash damage this weekend.
I forgot Albon is. Oh my God! Albon's art was out because of the his wreck in qualifying, and now the entire left side of Colapinto's car becomes completely destroyed.
So they're all queuing up in the pit lane,
and that's exactly, I think, how everybody feels towards every member of that Williams team.
Yeah.
They have.
We're now on lap 33.
One car into this race, and now both cars are out. Alex Albon didn't start.
I guess everyone can just change tyres for free now. They can. No.
And I've got to say, they can. And unless Lando Norris had to come in, I think McLaren made a strategy error there, because they could see the virtual safety car period was ending. Now, I couldn't see the end of the pit lane entry line, that you have to either commit to stay left and come in, or stay to the right and stay out. But it seemed to me during time that they had time to go against the call of box.
yeah, because they've all got onboard cameras. They could have kept an eye on what was happening with Nico Hülkenberg's car, couldn't they? They could see that it was going to. He was turning around and going to get going, and just with the timing of when that rain shower was coming and stuff. Because it's one thing to come and box and then put a set of wets on because you think, oh, it's too dangerous to be on that. So you put the infos on. So in that case, I think what Alpine have done with both cars and obviously what Max has done is the right thing. But listen, we're not even halfway through this race.
No, we're not.
Right? And we've had Max Verstappen go from 17th on the grid up into 2nd place. We've had Gasly go from 13th up into 3rd. There's a lot going to happen. So
in Canada, they left it a lap too late to box Lando Norris, and it cost him. And I think here they went a lap too early, or shouldn't have gone at all. And at the moment, it has cost Lando Norris. The top 3 will get a full change of tyres. Ocon, Verstappen, Gasly.
All right. Well, how long?
Everything have come early for Alpine, but it's going to be a very different race come the restart. Yuki Tsunoda now down in 6th, losing out a bit in the pit stops, but he's been driving brilliantly as well. Ted Travis, as Hamilton and Lawson get noted for causing a collision. Let's head down to you.
Yeah, lots going on down here as all the drivers getting out of their car, back to their garages, go for a cut-off break and then debrief with the engineers. Oscar Piastri has just come over, Crofty, to apologise for Liam Lawson, to Liam Lawson. So,
sorry, mate.
Yeah, no, Piastri's apologised to Liam Lawson for the crash earlier. So, Liam kind of said, all right, yeah, well, okay. I think I hear what you're saying about Lando Norris, but it was just a matter of keeping the car on the island for McLaren, really. Lando's just walked past me. Doesn't look like he's either happy or sad about the situation. Still in P4, ahead of Russell, isn't he? But in any case, as you say, the Alpine mechanics had been out in the pit lane with a variety, with a kind of pick your choice of tyres. A smorgasbord of tyres. First they came out with the Inters, then they came out of wets, then they came out with 2 sets of wets. They thought they were going to stack
3 hours.
and Ocon, then they went back in. So yeah, they're sitting pretty at the moment. We'll see where they go from there.
Cheers, Ted. This has been noted by race control.
Hamilton Lawson.
Lawson managed to get past Mercedes. Hamilton was turning in. I really don't think he knew that Liam Lawson was there. And I think Nico Hulkenberg has been noted by race control as well. Remember, he got stranded. Max Verstappen debriefing what it's like on these tyres to help Marco and to his father, Jos. But Nico Hulkenberg has been noted for continuing on the track after receiving assistance. It was a smorgasbord of tyres for the Alpine team down in the pit stops. It's a proper party bag variety pick and mix for stewards to investigate penalties today. I've never known such a different array of penalties that need investigating.
Yeah, I saw one of the stewards just before the race and said, we've all booked our flights to fly on Monday morning because we think it's going to be a late night here.
Might need a Tuesday as well. Either way, we're not going to get the full race for quite some time, or the full race order with any guarantee, because there's so many from that aborted start infringement that will need investigating.
Yes, you mean after the race?
Yeah, after the race.
Oh my God.
It's interesting to see that McLaren haven't covered up the car with an awning. There's man standing with an awning there, but they've left Lando's car out in the rain.
And there's the state of play in Sao Paulo. That's one of the lakes you can see over in the distance. We're between the lakes, and the rather dark stuff with the white lines around the outside is the newly renamed Interlagos Lake Track. Been a bit wet for quite some time.
Yeah, I mean, just looking out the window properly, the mechanics running up and down the pit lane and just carrying bits and pieces and fans and all sorts of things to the car. So
Oh boy. Well,
the radiator from
while I'm waiting, sounds like a good time to play some Fantasy Star 4.
Red flag. Did it! Should have stayed out. Into the pit lane. Follow the safety car.
Yeah, and exactly the same as with Lando Norris. I have to say I agree with George Russell there. And you said it.
We're different now. Play alleyway.
The drivers need to make the call for pitting in, not the pit wall. Bernie Collins.
Yeah, just to come in on that a little bit, Courtney. I think there was time for McLaren to adjust that decision, I think, like we've discussed. However, I think we've got into this ideal now that lots of drivers on their injury. How badly worn is it? Is it going to survive that amount of rain? Norris was quite strong in saying this injury's not doing well. The Monday was already on the used one, and there was discussion for a number of drivers about whether it was time to fall wet. And I think now we've got to this point in F1 where drivers assume we're going to get a red flag. Lots of drivers are out there that would stay on track, complaining that it should be a red flag in order to try and promote this red flag condition and save the pit stop. So I think McLaren had delayed a little bit. They hadn't stopped initially when the rain came, seen if there would be a red flag, and then took the opportunity to stop, even though it wasn't a fully reduced pit loss. I think they were on top of that. They knew that was not going to be ideal, but they thought the new intermediate would work. And of course, it's easier in hindsight to say now, we have had a red flag, and they should have stopped. But at that time, with the information they had, with the rain that was coming down, that stop to injure was the right thing to do.
I think the thing for me though is we had a virtual safety car where your pit loss goes from about 21 seconds down to about 12 seconds. Had the virtual safety car still been in operation, then whilst George Russell and Lando Norris made their pit stops, then they probably would have got out in time. But we all knew it was coming to an end, and because that would then go from a 12-second loss to a 21-second loss, why did the drivers get the call to stay out on the track?
Because it's still the right thing to have a freshman intermediate on.
Even if you're conceding track position?
Even if you're conceding track position, because of how revvy the rain was, there is a risk. And, it's a fair play to the drivers that have survived it on those very, very old tyres. Verstappen being one of them, the two Alpines. But that is a risk. If you don't get that red flag, it is a risk to survive that very, very wet condition on tyres that are very heavily worn. They're holding out for this red flag.
Talking of flags, there's a black flag for Nico Hulkenberg.
What?
He's out.
Yeah,
See him again?
that means you are excluded from
That's
practice.
stupid. Because he got going again?
See it, did we? We saw him sort of driving around and rejoining,
Yeah.
but we didn't actually see what the assistance was. We haven't seen a replay of that.
This is so stupid.
No one's told him. Nico Hulkenberg is 5 meters away from me, sitting on an easy chair, sitting on a chair. Talking to Ayo Komatsu and Gary Gannon, his engineer. Only now has Gannon put his headphones back on and is getting the news that his driver has been disqualified.
That's crap.
Gannon's face is a picture. He can't understand it. Ayo Komatsu doesn't have his headphones on, and Nico Hulkenberg doesn't have his headphones on. He doesn't know. He's just been disqualified.
I know, I can see you. You're right opposite our commentary box,
This is so
actually.
awkward.
I know.
Hulkenberg
Just shout.
looks quite happy with himself. I can't tell him. I can't do it. How can I do that?
Do it. Do it.
Shout. What am I going to do? Shout. Look at Gary Gannon. Look at I mean, if there are any cameras down here, Gary Gannon is only now. He's giving him the signal, as in the cut signal. Oh, this is heartbreaking. Right. I don't want to intrude on this anymore. This is just depressing me.
This is a bad skit.
Mercedes.
You have turned away from it as well.
Now the engineer is saying to the crew, the car crew, that's it. And they're going to get Nico Hulkenberg's car, get the tyre blankets off, wheel it back to the garage, and then all race back.
So we know what's...
Because he had to get.
The
Oh,
marshals are watching it, basically lifted up the front of the car over the drain that it had got beached on to push it back a little bit so Hulkenberg could get going again. And
so now we're down to 16 cars.
Hulkenberg
that's
was
the assistance he received
known that, surely.
to get back on the track. Oh.
Yeah, but you still argue the toss tape.
Okay, well,
you know, I get from his point, you still carry on and just argue the toss and hope that nobody noticed.
Well, I don't know whether he's going to be able to argue it sitting on that plastic chair in the middle of the pit lane just outside the Aston Martin garage. Right, the detail about the Mercedes adjusting their tyre pressures on the grid is that you're only allowed to adjust the tyre pressures between 10 minutes and 5 minutes before the start when the tyres are off the car. And on Russell and Hamilton's car, the tyres were bolted, they were on the car. And so that is
So that's the technical
that is the infringement. Yeah. So good luck to Mercedes.
I can ask Bernie Collins if she knows what the penalty for that would be. But that's like going through the entire back catalogue of Encyclopedia Britannica and telling me what happened on page 463.
Well, I'll do that in a minute. Let's see how long the red flag lasts. But my view on it is, like, we've had a few technical infringements last year, in particular with the plank being worn. A technical infringement that is, you know, very clean cut. If you infringe the technical regulations, you are out. The only question mark on that is that it's a TD, so it's a technical directive, we call it. But I think if they're guilty of that, and I think there's been examples, so let me go through Crofty, I will try and find out, and I will get back to you.
And while you're doing that, the teams have been informed that it will be a rolling start. The weather conditions need to improve, and they, at the moment, aren't good enough to give us an estimated time for a restart. But it will be a rolling start. Oh, there's the weather radar.
Yeah.
To show the blue stuff coming in. When we get that rolling start, Esteban Ocon will be leading the field from Max Verstappen, who of course was the driver he had a collision with in 2018 here, that cost Verstappen the race win. So those two, we're going to get resumption in 10 minutes time.
All right, 10 minutes.
Wheeling Hulkenberg's
I don't know.
past you there, Ted. Just looking at the commentary box, it looks like the rain is kind of fizzled out into a little drizzle, Ted. What do you think?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, ever since you remarked about why was it Lando's car didn't have the easy up, the gazebo on top of it, Crofty? That's because it wasn't raining, and it still really isn't raining. It's only a little drizzle, only a little raindrop here and there. So yeah, I mean, I guess it's just the MO of the teams. It's like, right, if it's wet, red flag, cars in the pit lane, get your easy ups, get your gazebos up, and then let's go for it. But they don't really need them. It is pretty much still dry. So now it's a matter of deciding which tyres to put out. And that's the other thing, is who's still got some new intermediates left, or some intermediates with any tread on them. Just looking forward over to the only remaining Aston Martin of the race. We haven't talked too much about Fernando Alonso, but he's been going pretty well, hasn't he, in a car that's lacking pace. And he's got a new set, I can see a new set of inters going to go
go on to the Aston Martin. Cheers, Ted.
So, the reason I was asking also about the rain is if we did 3 or 4 laps behind the safety car, we could have a standing start. If it's not raining anymore, you know, 3 or 4 laps clear on the standing.
Whatever you got to do to start, resume the race.
Let's have a standing start. I think,
Which I think we'd all prefer.
yeah, I don't know what the race director will decide, but if it's not raining anymore, then why not think about that? Only Behrman, by the way, has served that penalty. So you know what I was saying? That they will hope to serve it at the pit stop. Hope to get their penalties, serve it at the pit stop because it'll all close up again. Well, that's happened here. So he will be 15th, I think, on the restart.
Oscar Piastri hasn't served his penalty.
So he will, if there's another pit stop, he'll serve it then, or if there isn't, it'll be added on at the end of the race. As Max Verstappen is being hurried along a little bit by his physio there, Rupert Manwaring, as 8 minutes before they get going.
Back to work you go, then, Max. And so far it's been a highly productive afternoon of work. I should check myself there that we are in the afternoon. It was an early qualifying. It's an early race start. Fair play once again to Formula One, to the FIA for moving the race start so we could actually get some action in before the heavy rain came down. We still might get rain in the afternoon, later in the afternoon, who knows. Yeah, we're 5 to 2 in the afternoon and we've had 33 laps so far.
Verstappen's still running. He's still running down the pit lane because he's obviously, you know, he's second in the queue.
To the end, yeah,
he's second. Well, he parked it there. It's not that he's pushing. He parked it there. He's got well, actually, seems to be a salvo.
Well, yeah, because that would have been lapped.
Yeah.
Joe Granier. That salvo would have been lapped, which is why it's there.
They need to wheel it down the back, don't they?
Yes.
More than the side, get to join at the back.
Or do they do that on the track?
They'll allow the car's lap to go out first. So he'll unlock himself effectively and then enjoy the back of the queue. So they should all restart on the lead lap.
Oh, Norris is even behind Verstappen, by the way, on the running down the pit lane game. He's still there. He's still jogging along. He's leaving it a bit tight, Crofty. We're talking about starting in 7 minutes. He's still.
You know what it's like, before the drivers have to get to the national anthem and they've had their comfort breaks. They're all a bit late.
George Russell has a scooter, so he's wheeling his way down. I wonder if he's nicked Lewis Hamilton's scooter because Lewis is walking with his car and he's normally the one on a scooter.
Surely they've got 2 at Mercedes.
This is actually quite amusing to watch from up here. We've got a great view from the commentary box.
We certainly have. But there is Lewis Hamilton, who's just putting his hands device on currently before he gets himself into the car, and all the drivers will wipe their racing boots to get rid of any moisture before they get into the car, and will change their racing boots if they've been walking a fair bit. George Russell's arrived on the scene. And so, Lance Stroll, we lost on the formation lap, the first one. Alex Albon, we lost after a crash in qualifying. Nico Hulkenberg, we've now lost for a black flag. First driver to get a black flag since 2007 Canadian Grand Prix.
That's crazy.
Giancarlo Fisichella and Felipe Massa both went out of the pits under a red light, if you remember that far back.
So Verstappen now into the warm comfort of his race car. He's got 5 minutes to go.
And we've lost Franco Colapinto, whose accident on the main straight brought out this red flag. The 6th red flag that we've had today, 5 in qualifying and 1 so far in the race. Well, there's your intermediate tyres behind the safety car, dissipating plenty of water. And I would say it's been plain sailing for Max Verstappen, but he has sailed through the field. Certainly has the wind in his sails compared to qualifying a little earlier. Pierre Gasly up into 3rd place, but Alpine, who haven't run in the top 5 all season until today, they have a driver leading and a driver in 3rd. They're the first constructor from outside the top 4 to lead a lap this season. A season, by the way, that has 6 drivers on the grid with multiple race victories. Verstappen, Norris, Piastri, Leclerc, Sainz and Hamilton. We haven't had that since 1981. It was the only other time we've had it in the Formula One World Championship. And 4 constructors have won at least 3 races for the first time since 1977. We might get 5 constructors winning a race if Ocon can hold on.
So, Joe's car is still in the queue, and Bernie, you've got some news for us. Do you think it's going to be a standing start?
Yeah, I was just listening to some team radio there, and I think the Verstappen has been told on radio stand and start. We've not caught up through on our system yet, but I think there is a chance that this will be a stand and start. The only going to roll and start conditions really don't allow it. And at the minute out there, it does not think it should be dry enough for a stand and start. So let's hope that our stand and start wishes come true.
I think the call made just a little bit too early then maybe for a rolling start. See what the weather does, see if it improves a touch, and then take the decision.
Then you've got another question for you. Would they have to start on the full wet if they're starting behind the safety car? Are they obliged to do that, like at the start of the Grand Prix?
No, that's only at the start of the race. So at this point, they should be fit to choose for themselves. The only time that it's happened like that, Corinne, is if it is really heavy weather. Sometimes you can get a message through from the FIA that dictates its full wet conditions, but that's normal at this point in the race.
George Russell just saying on the team radio, said Kravis, that a rolling start would be more dangerous than a standing start. He would like to be on the grid in P5 and get going rather than roll along the main straight and attack into the first corner.
Yeah, different drivers got different opinions on that. Carlos Sainz says he thinks you should do at least 2 or 3 laps behind the safety car before they either choose a rolling start or a standing start. But well, we've seen it's the norm to do maybe a couple of laps behind the safety car and then a standing start. So we'll see what happens. Can I tell you about a funny moment that just happened, Crofty, here in the gap?
As long as it didn't involve you telling Nico Hulkenberg he was out of the race.
I tell you what, he took it really well. I think he knew it was coming. That's what made me sort of curious. It was clearly a surprise to Hulkenberg's engineer, but Hulkenberg was, when he was told, was like, yeah, I kind of knew that was going to happen. He knows the rules. Experienced campaigner like Hulkenberg.
It's officially, Ted, just 2 seconds, it's officially a rolling start.
Rolling start. Good to know.
Race will resume at 14:06.
5 minutes.
Now in 6 minutes time, and it will be a rolling start. That's appeared on our timing screen. Make that 14:02 rolling start. Just correcting itself.
The restart time, there's got to be class 1 to 2 rain for 10 minutes, and then nothing after that.
So we're like drizzle in McLaren speak. Class 1.
Correct. Come on,
so
my colleagues
from Viaplay, Dutch TV, and their expert Guido van der Gaard just appeared right next to me in this tiny
Guido van der Gaard, that's
staff bit where we're allowed to stand in the gap in the pit lane, and they are absolutely doing their nut with delight that Max Verstappen is going to win this race. They see that from 17th on the grid, they've been going on about how Max is going to win this race. Do you know what? At that moment, with all respect to Pierre Gasly and Esteban Ocon, I think they got a pretty good case. Max is in a great position now, isn't he?
Got a much better case than they had at 12:30 when we finally, 12:45 or whatever it was, when we finally got this race going. Let's just clear something up before we go out for another lap behind the safety car. This is Mercedes. On the grid, Ted Kravis was telling you about this. This is George Russell's car, adjusting the tyre pressures while those tyres were bolted on, Corinne Chandon, which you're just not allowed to do.
And the McLaren, look at the right side there, the tyres off the car, and they're adjusting it. So that looks like the difference between why Mercedes are being investigated and McLaren aren't.
But both drivers...
There we go, you can see it's like clearly there on the Lewis Hamilton's car.
And both drivers under investigation along with 3 others for leaving the grid after the aborted start. A message came out. That will be investigated after the race. Watch this space, or go to our online service, skysports.com/Formula 1 for the latest news here from Interlagos, if it comes after we come off air.
Yeah, our online wizard Nigel Chu will be very busy after the review.
all right. They're coming back out.
More words this weekend than he's ever typed in a weekend before. So he tells me.
Thank you, Nigel, for everything.
So he tells me by WhatsApp. Communicates by writing. Right, here we go then. Let's get some driving done once more. We've got a rolling start coming. So behind the safety car. And Bernd Mailander will be radioing back to race control. They'll be wanting to know what the conditions are like. A rolling start to be at the end of this first lap, we can have 10 laps or so behind the safety car. Should race control decide that's the safest way to do it?
Yeah, exactly that. But you know, there'll be in constant communication between, you know, also I think with the team managers, right? So the obviously the safety car driver will be feeding back to race control and Niels Wittich, the race director. Niels Wittich will also be communicating with the team managers, who will be getting feedback from the drivers. So there's plenty of information that's coming back, but ultimately it is Niels Wittich as race director who will make that call as to how many laps on the safety car we should do.
They're quite spread out, and this is the important thing. You might want to. And he can feel that by being out there behind the safety car. He knows they're not new enters.
But also the blankets came off. He look at it and know they're not new enters. So what's happening now? Auckland seems to have backed away.
Back up.
Do you think they're going green straight away?
Well, if the lights have gone off on the safety car, then they might be going green straight away. We might be just having the one lap there, which is why Esteban Ocon has backed off. The third Highlander has completely disappeared.
Oh, well, all right, here we go. Restarting.
And when does Esteban Ocon go? When does he make the jump here? When do we get this start going once more? It's entirely up to him to choose that. Ollie Behrman just hanging back.
Oh! Behrman spins off.
Into the grass, he's kept it going.
Joe also off. Oh, we're green. Damn. I gotta make a bunch of updates after the first lap. Still very wet out there. Oh, Lando goes off completely. Oh man, that was a risky rejoin. And here comes Russell. Russell takes back the position he lost right before the red flag, the safety car. Leclerc goes off. Doesn't lose a spot.
He thinks he might be able to get past the Ferrari now as well, but they're all struggling for grip. The tyres are cold after a lap on that rolling start. And we see now two go off as Behrman, ahead of Joe, rejoins down in 15th a long way back.
Ocon's broken away though. Ocon's broken away. 1.7 seconds over Max Verstappen. And they've in turn dropped Pierre Gasly by some margin as well. So brilliant restart here from Esteban Ocon.
Can he maintain it though? That's what I want to know.
Judging the start when he wanted to go, and he's done it absolutely perfectly.
Yeah, but he's put 5 seconds on his teammate. Perfect. Look at this. Here comes Lewis Hamilton on Fernando Alonso.
Yeah, we'll watch the driver track on this one. You barely see them on the track.
Hamilton passes Alonso. I can't even see that.
Into that first corner. The two drivers that have completed more racing kilometres than any other driver in Formula One, exchanging places into the first corner. Hamilton now 9th, Alonso 10th, and bit by bit, Esteban Ocon continues to extend that lead.
Go Ocon.
2 seconds to Max Verstappen.
We haven't had 8 winners. I don't even know when.
Second on the last lap compared to Max Verstappen. And this great guy. I have to say, I'm a bit surprised we didn't do more laps in the safety car. And there was no message about safety car coming in either.
No, there was no communication on that one. The drivers can see little ahead of them, and it might have needed 2 or 3 laps just to give them half a chance of seeing where they're going. But you know what? They're not the best drivers in the business for nothing, and they're giving us great entertainment out there.
We haven't had 8 different winners since 2012.
Sonoda in 8th, ahead of him. Sonoda, who was running in the top 3 for such a long time before pitting and losing ground after making that pit stop. He's going to have to come back through the field again. Charles Leclerc holding off Oscar Piastri. Max Verstappen still continuing to be be that much slower behind Esteban Ocon, who's got that clear track and the gap now 2.5 seconds. He'll be right on board with Lewis Hamilton. Now, can you see a car in front? Of course you can't see a car in front. There's a rain light blinking and flashing. We can just about see it now. That car is Yuki Tsunoda, and Hamilton just driving into a wall of water, quite frankly, and putting his complete trust in the...
By the way, if Ocon managed to win, it would, in addition to tying the 2012, it's also the time most different winners since 1982, which had 11 different winners.
Chasing down Carlos Sainz for 13th place. At the moment, you've got to stay in this race because the...
Behrman trying to make a move around Carlos Sainz. Oh, he spins! Bam! Behrman hits the wall. Although he backs up, I think he can still continue, but... Damn. We've already lost 4 cars. He'll get going.
He'd be disappointed with that because he got very close behind Sainz, then ran wide off the line where people had been clearing away some of the water, and at that point the rear car, there was no way he was going to get it stopped. So, yeah, an unforced error. There's no other way to describe that.
Hamilton a bit closer to Tsunoda on this particular occasion. Half thought about a little move there. Like an eel that's been dipped in oil. Yuki Tsunoda has that little grip coming out of the first corner.
It's weird, right? Their pace early on looked good. He was running in 3rd place, but ever since the restart, I don't know if it's on this set of tyres or something, but Tsunoda doesn't seem to have the pace. He's 4 seconds now behind Piastri.
But he was running in free air, wasn't he, behind Lando Norris and George Russell? There was a big gap to the front too.
But he's got a big gap in front of him now to Piastri, was what I mean, and he's still, last time round, what has he lost? Over a second, so his pace isn't there.
And out in front, 3.5 seconds, the gap between Esteban Ocon and Max Verstappen, who I'm sure would love to win this race, but so far, so good for him in terms of the championship battle. And he's currently 2nd. Lando Norris down in 5th. He's going to advance his lead by 8 points after this Sao Paulo Grand Prix, which, as I say, has still got a fairly long way to go.
A 50-point gap. No, wait. Sprints. 58-point gap would clinch at Vegas. Wait, no, you can get more points for like fastest lap at run.
What a day this will be for Alpine if they can hang on and finish in this order.
Yellow flag sector 3. For what? No, green flag, okay.
If they score, you say 40 points, it would take them up to 56. They'd only be 30 points behind Aston Martin with 3 races to go.
And take them ahead of Haas, which is obviously where the money's paid. At the moment, they're behind Haas in the Constructors' Championship.
Behrman went off again? Dude. Man. That's pretty bad.
Well, it's all gone swimmingly for the first 2 races for Ollie Behrman in Grand Prix, but Interlagos is really testing him ahead of his full debut season next year. There's Sergio Perez, Carlos Sainz right behind him, Liam Lawson is the car in front.
Alright, I could have sworn F1 gave points for pole.
We'll have battle resumed. Bernie Collins looking at me at Sky Race Control. Did you want to come in?
I was just going to mention.
Okay, so 25 points on the 26th, plus the 8 for the sprint. 60-point gap after Vegas would clinch. Next time by, it'll be 30 laps to go, and Max is gaining back on Esteban Ocon.
to the end. So it'll be about tyre condition and racing cars on track.
Ooh.
So at the moment, Ocon's pace is down back into the 124s, Scotty, which is kind of where we saw it when the track was at its best before that big rain shower. I think this happened.
Oh, we got a spin!
Something. Yeah, Ocon's best lap earlier.
There in the barriers is a Ferrari.
Which one is it?
It's Carlos
Signs
Sainz.
out. Another safety car. Oh my God.
What does that do? Ocon and Verstappen have moved past the pit entry, as is Gasly. Russell and Norris will be next on the scene. Oh, and there's big damage there.
Well, that's another. Now we're down to 15 cars.
For a while, no one's choosing the pit.
Oh.
We've only had a few laps, haven't we, since the restart.
I think it's shown so far that actually overtaking is pretty
Good Lord.
condition of visibility. So this track position is proving vital. Ironically, this is a track where in the dry.
Like, I saw it happen like 5 seconds before Crofty noticed.
Bringing out the safety car here, crashing. Sadly for him on lap 40 out of 69 at Romagna.
And he joins Stroll and Colapinto as having his second crash of the day, isn't it? Because he also ended qualifying.
What? Oh, he gets going? It's probably gonna be out of the race with that damage. His wings, his rear wings all screwed up. Bam.
Oh dear. He was facing outwards from the barriers. He's obviously kept the engine going. I thought for all the world that he was out of the race.
Yeah, he tried to brake on the white line. I think that the front suspension will be too badly damaged.
Look at the water in the tires.
I can see it on our tracker. He's parked up on
What was
the
that?
side of the track. Oh dear. Carlos Sainz, not what he wanted at all.
Yeah, you could see rear damage as well. So
I'm told, by the way, behind the safety car, last double podium for Team Enstone was when they were Team Lotus and not Alpine. Kimi Raikkonen
And Romain Grosjean.
in the 2013 South Korea Grand Prix.
Damn.
Driving the car that Ted and I have both had a go in all those years ago.
Oh, yeah, Signs is now out. Okay, officially. We have 30 to go. I don't know how this race is gonna go the full distance at this point.
For the team at Enstone.
wow, I mean, for all of those new team principal, this is uncharted territory with a 1-3. I mean, it's a team and an organization. They've not had a lot of news in the last year or so. A lot of upheaval, a lot of people leaving the team. Not good news on the engine front. Lots of sort of negative news stories. But this will be such a morale boost for everybody involved in it.
God. They'd go from 9th to 6th if they run as they are.
Beers down to Enstone before. I dare say there'll be a truckload of his beer heading for a celebratory Friday afternoon after this race. And Hollyoaks sat next to him.
They'll have like 3 weeks until their next race.
This is what I'm saying, mate. One lap, things could look rosy. Next lap, we're all boats together. Anything can happen. Still a very, very long way to go. Keep your head down, keep focused. 29 laps remaining.
Yeah, now we're down to 29 to go.
Ollie's rather fond of, Friday afternoon, injects a little bit of fun to the equation, giving people a bit of a treat. Well, they could be in for a treat, but I tell you what, these next 28 laps or so are going to be very, very good.
Oh, absolutely. And GP's right there because we've seen so much happen in this race already. People climbing up the order, plummeting down.
There's been lots of offs. Most of them are white lines.
Stay off.
And that's an interesting point because obviously it's a new surface, but it's also freshly painted white lines. Now, the FIA mandated anti-slip paint, but it does seem like, and honestly, in my experience, I remember having all these conversations with Charlie Whiting at various tracks, but he keeps telling me how he's got this new paint and it's great. And I keep saying to him, it's really slippery. And he said, no, but the study says it's the same as the asphalt. And it just never is.
Lap 42 of 69. Esteban Ocon.
28 to go.
Formula One, the Hungarian Grand Prix, on another crazy afternoon in Formula One in 2021, where Lewis Hamilton was the only driver on the grid for the restart. They all piled into the pits. This after Valtteri Bottas had gone 10 pit bowling in the Formula One.
Oh, safety car's ending.
Just opened up for Ocon. Well,
There is another
Another rain.
for the end of the race.
Well, when George Russell and Lando Norris pitted, it opened up for Ocon once again here. And he is a man with his head down, looking to get going again at the end of this lap to try and take that second win for the team that he's leaving at the end of the season. Tim Kravis, let's head to you.
Just a quick one. Yeah, they're pretty nervous actually on the Alpine pit wall. But the mechanics are loving this in the Alpine garage. Absolutely loving this, having P1 and P3 at the moment. Lawson and Perez. Perez saying...
I don't know if that microphone picked up those neck cracks.
That'll be interesting on the restart. Those two, 11th and 12th, Lawson and Perez.
The only time he's led more than one lap in a race, says Esteban Ocon, he went and won it, that race in Hungary. And he's led more than one lap here this afternoon, and he has led the field away for a rolling start after a safety car has peeled off once before this afternoon. So Max Verstappen weaving around, trying to get some temperature into those tyres, and Ocon controlling the pace and letting Bernd Mailander go. He's going to get racing once again. It's keeping calm whilst also trying to be aggressive, trying to take your opportunity as and when it might come. No overtaking, of course, before they get.
Again, really winding him up.
So Max Verstappen has to try and keep back, and Pierre Gasly is keeping quite a long way back because he's going to try and anticipate when the jump is coming here and just gain a little bit of speed from a little bit further back, so that he can get going and mount a challenge to Max Verstappen.
Here he goes.
Now they go, and Pierre Gasly did not get that done whatsoever.
Here comes Russell trying to get to third. Ooh. That's going to be a mess for third place. Verstappen on the inside. Oh, one of the McLarens is off. Verstappen takes the lead. Which McLaren went off? Is that Norris or Piastri? I still don't even know. Well, that sucks. Well, now we know who's going to win the race. Verstappen hasn't won a race since June, I think. Yeah, so it was Norris who went off. Ooh! Lawson being as aggressive as he always is. And of course, oh! Alonso's way off track. Good God. And Checo is now in the points for the first time all day.
And he can just about see where the car in front, Charles Leclerc, is braking. And already Max Verstappen has pulled out 1.5 seconds on Esteban Ocon. The benefit of clear air in front of you, no spray to drive into, is evident for all to see.
Yeah, so Verstappen now in an extraordinary race, 17 to the lead. That trumps his 16th to second from 2016. As you said, 1.6 seconds now. So really, this is now about Verstappen getting into rhythm, getting into a comfortable pace, and just staying there ahead of Verstappen. While Norris, okay, he has to get out of his way, fairly, but as we see the replay top right corner copy of Fernando Alonso.
Oh, he wasn't even in frame.
I don't think he touched anyone. The strap was going on behind him.
But the Alpines are working well in these conditions. Look, Leclerc's not all over the back of Gasly, is he? So you have to say the Alpines have got a setup that seems to be working well for the wet conditions.
Gasly, I thought, just caught napping a little bit when Esteban Ocon got everybody underway. Max Verstappen wasn't caught napping. No one's won from 17th on the grid here before. Lewis Hamilton won it from 10th in 2012. 21, and that's the lowest split spot for a race winner. And Verstappen now 2 seconds clear of Esteban Ocon. Pierre Gasly in third place, ahead of Charles Leclerc. Leclerc under a little bit of pressure from George Russell. Lando Norris behind his teammate Oscar Piastri. Got to say, his championship challenge faltering in the Drivers' Championship here this afternoon.
All right, you can say that again. It'd be a 19-point gain for Max. We just set him up really well heading into Las Vegas.
To Vegas, to Qatar and Abu Dhabi, and Norris will have an awful lot to do if it stays this way.
Yeah, we have to remind people that that investigation for the start procedure is still hanging over Norris's head, and Verstappen, as we see, this is the replay. Look, first we have Russell attacking Gasly, then Leclerc down the inside Norris, who just, I think he got slightly unsighted by George being in front of him. Leclerc's a big beneficiary there. He gained on Lando and George. 2 cars in one move, and in the end, Lando rejoined behind his teammate.
He wasn't moving out of the way of Charles Leclerc, but I think he was giving a lot of distance between Leclerc on the inside and himself. And in moving across, he lost the rear a little bit.
Yeah, I think he didn't realise how close to the corner perhaps they were, or how slow George would be. And I think just at that point he said, oh, running in the back of George. And yeah, just locked up the rear, slipped away from the racing line on the way.
New fastest lap of the race.
Damn.
Max Verstappen, 3 seconds the gap between himself and Esteban Ocon. Pierre Gasly still running in third place. Let's go back down the field. Sergio Perez riding on board as well through that first corner.
What? Oh.
10th behind Liam Lawson.
Piastri told to swap positions.
Going on with that one, but the 2 McLaren drivers told to swap positions now. Piastri
Lando up to 7th, 6th, I mean.
allows Lando Norris through and up into 6th place.
Yeah, it's the right thing to do. Lando's shown more pace than Piastri throughout this Grand Prix. Remember earlier, Piastri got stuck behind Lawson, for example. So we'll see if Norris can make some progress here.
62 points is the gap.
Teammate George Russell ahead of Charles Leclerc, running now in 4th place. And Charles Leclerc under pressure from Lando Norris, who just got to stick to it as close as he possibly can here and try and pick up a slipstream down this main straight, which is not the easiest thing to do, not when you can't see as the cars accelerate up to their faster speeds. To stick behind them and pick your braking point. Charles Leclerc has been noted for rejoining the track unsafely at turn 4 by race control. That might get sent to the stewards, who are surely working more overtime than they ever thought they imagined would be possible. Charles Leclerc looks in his mirrors. Lando Norris isn't close enough. Oscar Piastri still in 7th.
Yeah, well, Lando just moving to the left to get a bit of visibility there as well, a bit of clean air onto the front wing. He's close to Charles. I sense he's quicker than Charles if he can get ahead.
This, I think, is where he's got a better chance, but Leclerc's already covered that off by just moving over towards the inside, halfway down that straight.
Yeah, he hasn't got the straight line speed, has he?
Let's see Charles Leclerc. This is where he went off the track, down at turn 4, where I think he's conceded that place to George Russell. So runs wide. There's the Mercedes on the inside. We've seen that before in the race.
We saw
Ollie Behrman and Lewis Hamilton.
Yeah, and also I think we saw, Lando going off there earlier and rejoining the track. But as long as you've left the cars with them left.
It was a carbon copy, it looked like to me there, when Hamilton went off and Behrman scooted down the inside.
Yeah, I wonder if that's a bit of McLaren complaining, trying to get the position swap with Leclerc here and give
All right, coming at 22 to go now. Wait, also I should have.
So up at the front now, the Alpines have settled into a rhythm, haven't they? They pulled away from George Russell. He's over 3 seconds now behind Gasly. I'm massively impressed with the Alpine pace in these conditions. Really. In the drive, when we had the sprint yesterday morning, it was. They didn't look anything special, but as soon as the rains come down, the cars look very competitive.
You asked me, didn't you, who I fancied for qualifying? I meant for the race when I said Vive la France a little earlier. And Vive la France it is. Last time we had 2 French drivers finish on the podium. 1997 in Spain, Olivier Panis and Jean
Lazy.
Alesi. second and third.
Right now, it used to be only French drivers. You know, back when that drivers like Prost, Jean-Pierre Jabouille, Jean-Pierre maybe Jarier, Jacques Lafitte. No, Jacques Lafitte was Ligier, but Patrick Tambay. Let me look up the full list that they've had. Let's see. Jean-Pierre Jabouille and Rene Arnoux, Prost and Arnoux, Tambay. Okay, then once 83 came around, they didn't have. They didn't necessarily have all French, but.
Potentially, Sergio Perez might not be in Formula One for next year. He needs to be making more of an impression in races because that's what Red Bull is demanding of him. And once again, Perez close but not close enough.
Checo can't even pass Lawson.
He's trying to get past the RB.
He's stuck there. Two drivers were chasing his seat. Verstappen's checked out the front of. He's done two fastest laps in a row. Last one, half a second quicker than anything anyone else can do. And it was George Russell, in fact, second fastest. But just in contrast, you know, Verstappen at 22.2, Lando Norris at 23.9, 1.7 seconds.
Next time by it will be 20 to go.
What we think is the final stage of this race, but you know, there's still 21 laps to go. There still could be a safety car. There still could be a red flag. Anything could happen here. I'm looking at the clock. We've got 45 minutes during which this race must get done.
The Salvars are just nowhere.
Yeah, you're right. I know, but it really has become a case of damage limitation now for Lando Norris. A couple of key incidents with the timing of the pit stop, and then a couple of key mistakes from Lando Norris making the difference. Crucially, as he seeks to get some pace, he's still slower than Charles Leclerc in front of him. And even if Norris thinks, or McLaren think, that Russell in P4 is going to get a penalty for the tyre pressures thing, then he does need to still try and make it past Leclerc, does Norris. But at the moment, Leclerc is comfortable with the tyres that he's on, comfortable keeping the pace, and yeah, Leclerc going well as they try to get nearer to Gasly, but they can't, can they?
I have to say, you know,
Russell is closing in on Gasly for third.
So when you look back at a race like this, it must be so hard for the engineers and the drivers to try and in this. I mean, I know from a driving perspective, so much happens that you don't see because you have such a myopic view from the cockpit. It must be really confusing as to try and debrief and dissect.
Yeah, it's really confusing to debrief and dissect because you've got this combination of data. We've got the TV screen, we've got our race trace, which I'm looking through here, we've got the radar, we've got the driver radio. So much to bring together where you have to replay it all together to realise which decisions you made when and why and what could have been done differently or said differently at all the different points through the race.
Since the summer break, Max Verstappen hasn't finished within 19 seconds of the leader of the race. The way he's going at the moment, he might win this one by 19 seconds. He is flying out in front. Charles Leclerc, no further investigation for that rejoining unsafely. Not a surprise in the slightest on that one. And he is currently 8/10 of a second ahead of Lando Norris. You just missed him going through your screen there as the camera picked up the two Prix, the two McLarens running in 6th and in 7th, which is not after the sprint race 1-2 yesterday what they expected here this afternoon, a race that could have been their 50th 1-2 finish in Formula One, but it has unravelled really since the start, what should have been the start of the race. Keep reminding you, Lando Norris under investigation for a starting procedure infringement, and that might cost him a time penalty further.
Yeah, I mean, we stood on the grid and said he's starting first, Verstappen starting 17th. This is a pivotal day in the championship, and there's a chance for a big swing at points. I didn't expect to be seeing such a big swing going the other way, I have to be honest. I thought Verstappen would come through because we know he's exceptionally good in the wet. But if you told me he was going to win and Norris would finish 6th, that's not what I would have expected.
The only thing that might be concerning Max Verstappen at the moment is that he's been told by his double yellow as off goes Oscar Piastri.
Damn.
And
Piastri keeps his spot. Man, that one could have been bad.
Further, and he's under pressure though from Yuki Tsunoda behind him. Tsunoda picking up a brilliant...
Tsunoda sending blood in the water to the outside. Goes to number 22. Side by side as they approach turn 1.
Piastri's got the inside line though. Piastri breaks this down.
Oscar holds on to the spot.
Manages to hang on to 8th place. Oh dear. So Liam, yeah, so Oscar Piastri just managing to stay ahead there. Yuki Tsunoda, the one behind him, that just caught me by surprise. I looked at the names on the side. Well, that's not Liam Lawson behind Oscar Piastri. Was Stu Lawson?
No, he lost about 3 seconds, Oscar, didn't he?
Yeah.
So you can see the gap open up the ladder. Norris is stuck. I do think he's got more pace in that McLaren than Charlotte there, but he's just kind of stuck there. Here we go. Here's the front left locked up.
Yep.
And then under the steers off wide. 0.83 precisely. He's lost the family on that.
We like to get accuracy in it. We certainly try. Yeah, Max Verstappen just been told, find a bit more water. Your front right is hitting peak temperature, so try and keep those tyres cooled down a bit. If he is trying to find a bit of water, it's not affecting his pace. 6.7.
The Alpine still running second and third. I can still see George Russell now within a second. Still, obviously no DRS because the track's littered with water.
Lando Norris, both off the track a couple of times during this race. 3 strikes and then you get the black and white flag, and then you get a penalty after that, so that's worth keeping an eye on. Behind Silvera Norris, Piastri heads of Tsunoda and Lawson, Sergio Perez in the top 10, but just 1 point so far for Sergio Perez, who's stuck right behind Liam Lawson.
Weather update on lap 60. We expect class 1 to class 2 rain to last for about 4 laps.
Remind me again, because I prefer simple English. Class 1, heavy. Class 1, light drizzle.
I think it's 1 is light and then it ramps upwards, isn't it? It gets more and more intense with the bigger number. So think of it as a little, winter drizzle at the start, and then slightly ramping up.
Why don't tell me about this coat was far heavier this weekend so far. Right, Perez, Lawson, in between Lawson and Hamilton.
Well, I think they're telling because they want him to keep the tyres alive, but when it does rain, he keeps tread on it. But he's got to use it. I think he's got to use the tyres in any way he can to get ahead of Leclerc and then sort it out. I mean, track position is proving pretty vital, just purely from a visibility standpoint and nothing else.
And he should be saving on fuel because we've had the laps behind the safety car, and the race has been run at a much slower pace there than normal. He needs to...
Ooh! Lawson holds off Checo there. Lawson definitely went wide.
Lick it and send it. He was too far back to do that, but that's almost a desperation brought on by it being that much more difficult to overtake here in the rain, but that's what you've got to try if you're in a position like Sergio Perez, where you're trying to move up into ninth spot. And that's maybe the sort of thing that Lando Norris is going to have to try and do behind Charles Leclerc.
Yeah, isn't it crazy? One wet day we get.
Ooh.
So RB got 2 cars in the points now. Okay, they got 2 of these cars breathing down Lawson's neck, but 2 cars in the points. Has to have a great run of points and now out of the point scoring positions. Alpine look good. It's crazy. This is what is amazing.
15 laps to go.
We get these wacky races
And
once in a while.
Checo was looking for anything. He's also got Hamilton right behind him.
Lawson, Vico De Passo, the Duxville corner, quite a day like today. Now in front, 7.7 seconds the gap. Verstappen over Ocon. Pierre Gasly, about 3.5 seconds behind his teammate. He's keeping George Russell at bay though. Open up another couple of tenths advantage on the previous lap as here goes Sergio Perez.
Checo trying again. Oh! 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 Contact again! Damn! Damn! Oh! Checo loses the position to Lewis Hamilton. Damn! And Checo back out of the points.
He practically waved Max through, didn't he, Lawson?
Good God.
Clearly that needle between him and Sergio Perez at start of Mexico has carried on here.
Wow. So Liam Lawson survives at 9. Hamilton moves up to 10. Sergio Perez is going to have to try again. And we're on lap 56 of 69, which by my calculations has taken us, at the end of last lap actually, above 75% race distance. So whatever happens from here, 4 points will be scored. If the race ended and wasn't resumed, 4 points will be awarded today. That incident between Perez and Lawson has been noted. They did touch, so that's why the race director has noted those two drivers. Ted, to you.
Yeah, how important will that be both for Max Verstappen's Drivers' Championship and Alpine's Constructors' Championship that we're getting 4 points today? Grumpy, can I do a new strand? I'm going to call it unnoticed and potentially insignificant triumph of the day. And that is awarded today. It's awarded today to Fernando Alonso, who you remember slid off, didn't he? About 15 laps ago.
Is Joe gonna finish last of all drivers despite a guy spinning out early at the start of the?
Behind the
Doing
Sauber
good.
of Zhou Guanyu, and over those laps, he is closed down. Because of the Sauber.
Did he? Because it looks like you just.
Sergio Perez drove into the side of Liam Lawson, according to Liam Lawson.
Alonso, unnoticed, has cut that deficit completely. I know it's only gaining on a Sauber, but brilliant job from Alonso. He's about to overtake Zhou for last running position, having overcome a 15 to 16 second deficit to the Sauber. Great recovery from Alonso. Yes, it's not unnoticed by me, but it might be insignificant, but it is a triumph of the day.
Okay, I'm going to send you a challenge. See if you can go tell Fernando Alonso's story and see how much he cares about finishing 14th place and second last on the
Yeah,
road.
but he did it. He completely obliterated the 15 16.
Yeah, that's not an achievement. It's a Sauber.
So I hope he's enjoying himself.
I'm sure he's absolutely loving it. I can't wait for the notebook interaction between yourself and Fernando Alonso as you introduce that new strand as well. Go on, do it. 9 seconds out in front. Max Verstappen, 10-race run without winning. It's his longest since an 11-race streak in 2020. It's coming to an end here because no one else is making an impression on Esteban Ocon. On Max Verstappen, I should say.
Yeah.
Ocon and Gasly will be very satisfied with a second and third. George Russell running in fourth. Charles Leclerc fifth, and then the McLaren duo of Norris and Piastri. And I've been reminding you all the way through the race, if you're just joining us, you probably need reminding again. Lando Norris, who started this race on pole, is one of a number of drivers under investigation for an infringement for maybe leaving the grid where they shouldn't after the first start was aborted, and that will be discussed in the stewards room after this race. So what has been a very bad afternoon for McLaren could get even worse after this race has been completed. On board with Lewis Hamilton now, who had a much better time, I'm sure, driving Ed Senna's old McLaren than he has been driving his Mercedes in this race today. It's still going for the overtakes, and now trying to get Liam Lawson, but it just wasn't there for him.
Yeah, and don't forget Mercedes, of course, under investigation for that tire pressure infringement as well. So there's a good chance that the order we see at the checker flag is in the order in a few hours after the race. But in the meantime, let's enjoy what we are seeing on track before checker flag. Liam Lawson now under pressure from Hamilton. Perez has dragged himself as well into this little battle after his excursion to run off at turn 4. So
Alonso passed Joe. Pathetic. For Joe, I mean. Oh, here comes Checo. And he get by Hamilton. No. Maybe do it here. Nope.
Going on for the last scraps of the points, and Hamilton struggling with the handling of his car, with bouncing, with just no grip out there, is desperately clinging on to 10th place here in Interlagos, and desperately trying to make it 2 points for finishing 9th as he chases after Liam Lawson once again. Sergio Perez is just like someone to go his way from time to time.
So remember, Will Joseph said there's more rain expected on lap 60. Well, we're on lap 59, so we'll keep an eye on that and see. Bernie, have you got anything on the radar?
Not one to disagree, but my radar doesn't have that rain. So let's see, we've got 9 laps left. At the minute, north of the track looks pretty clear, I would say. That's where all the rain's been coming from. There have been blanks in the radar there, but for me, I think there's a potential that this race is drying now to the end of the race.
No further investigation. Perez and Lawson for the incidents at turn 2.
Yeah, I think that's fine. I think, you know, it's fair enough, really. Perez saw a gap, went for it, and then they sort of squabbled a bit. But I think
10 laps to go.
Another fastest lap for Max Verstappen. Only driver lapping in the 1 minute 21s. Currently 10.5 seconds clear. Out in front.
it's a masterclass.
Yep.
Absolute masterclass here from Max. I mean, not only has he gone from 17th to 1st, but he's also got a 10-second lead over the rest of the pack. In a race where I've been saying quite a lot about how it's difficult to overtake, it's tricky with visibility, it's hard to make the moves. He's made a lot of those moves. I know he did 7 of them on the opening lap, but he's picked his way through the pack and got out in front. And yeah, an absolute masterclass.
It's vintage Verstappen, and it's the sort of drive that delighted us time and time again in his racing career. The frustration with Max is that sometimes he does things that you don't quite like, but I don't want to dwell on that, but it's just the conundrum of Max Verstappen a little bit. With this excellence, just occasionally comes almost a stubborn resilience, a belligerence almost, that
11 seconds? That's the gap to the, oh my god, to second.
when he first came in. Sometimes if you are getting penalised for it, you do have to change your ways a little bit.
All right, 9 to go. Fastest lap of 121.331.
Just reading off the fastest laps at Will here. 8 laps to go, and he's just done another lap, extending that lead. So he's taking another 8 tenths out of Esteban Ocon.
Pierre Gasly never finished on the podium twice at a venue on the Formula One calendar. He's been on the podium here, of course, held off Lewis Hamilton, didn't he, to get P2 in a great drag all the way to the line. He's trying to hold off the other Mercedes of George Russell currently.
So Alpine jumped roughly from 9th to 6th in the Constructors' World Championship.
Yep.
This race is a $50 million race. Let that sink in. A one-off result in a wet day in Sao Paulo, Czech Rabbits, is going to be worth $50 million if they can, of course, hold on to that 6th place at the end of the season.
Yes, if it stays through like that, like for Las Vegas, Qatar, and Abu Dhabi. Forgive my stumbling, but I've just thought of a new award of the day, Grotty. I've thought of Take a Day Off of the Day award, and that is, do you know who I'm going to award it to?
Which Joe?
No, we were just talking about them. It's the Alpine Pit Crew, because they have not made a pit stop, have they?
Oscar behind you has a...
All right, Oscar has not, Piastri has not served his penalty. He'll probably fall to 8th place. Wait, no, he could go to 10th.
So well done to the Alpine Scratchers. They held out, they didn't make a pit stop. They changed both Ocon and Gasly's tyres in the red flag. And so Take a Day Off of the Day award goes to the Alpine Pit Crew. Didn't do any pit stops.
Bravo. The Red Bull pit crew did make a stop for Sergio Perez, of course. If Oscar Piastri's got a penalty to serve, why don't they let him pass Lando Norris and try and get closer to Charles Leclerc? Because he's still got that 10-second penalty, and if he can't do it, swap him around on the last lap. Ready, Collins?
I think that's a coded message. I think they're being very careful there. He said, Piastri has a penalty. Underline, you're under investigation from the beginning of the race. So let you get us close, try and make your gap. Penalties are being handed out.
Anyway,
No
8 to
other
go.
reason that they would want Norris to finish well ahead of Piastri than his own impending, potentially, penalty.
10 seconds for Oscar Piastri, which at the moment would drop him down behind Liam Lawson. So finishing down in that 9th place.
No, I think it's quite close, Coffee. It'll just be between Lawson and It'll be between Lawson and Tsunoda, I think it's at the moment, isn't it? Yeah, it'll be a second ahead of Lawson.
Looking at the timing screen.
7 to go.
9 versus 40. So anyway, we'll see at the end. We'll see in 6 laps time. But at the moment, there's 11 seconds between Piastri and Lawson. There's 6 plus 5 there, so we'll see how that plays out.
Going by the timing screen at the end of lap 62. That's why we have that. Which said Max Verstappen 13.3 seconds in front, 13.6 now. And here's Lewis Hamilton once again trying to make a move on Liam Lawson. Towards the first corner we go. About as close as he's got in the last few laps, but he still can't squeeze past. Lawson stays exactly where he is.
And this is important for Piastri, actually, isn't it? You know, if Lewis can delay Lawson with a bit of defensive driving, that could help Oscar out a little bit.
There's that outstanding penalty, the confirmation for Oscar Piastri for the contact with, sorry, it was with Liam Lawson, wasn't it?
Yes.
What?
Yes. Oh, it's been a long day.
First time we've had to get up at 4:30 for quite some time. I have every sympathy for those that do it on a regular basis.
But it's, you know, it's been such a tough day. You imagine, like, you think of the Williams mechanics and stuff, right? There's so much has happened in their day, and so much yet to do. Because they got to now put that car back in the state where they can back it away in the straight. So, yeah.
At the end of a thoroughly exhausting triple header as well. There's a lot of tired minds and a lot of tired limbs as well. We'll be heading to an airport over the next couple of days. I'm sure the drivers are feeling the fatigue, but one man who's gone through a fair bit
6 to go.
and in Mexico is going to come out at the end of this America's triple header with his championship lead very, very much intact on the day. As I said earlier, that he breaks Michael Schumacher's record for the most consecutive days of the lead of a drivers' championship. Max Verstappen will be extending that lead.
Unbelievable.
And by quite some margin. He currently
Who even looks for records like that?
6 points in this race. Lando Norris has 8, so be another 18 points, and that's before the stewards rule on whether Lando Norris will get a penalty for the starting procedure infringement.
It's days like this, isn't it, where it underlines why Max Verstappen is on his way to a 4th World Championship, and why in a car which hasn't been the fastest car since probably April or May, he is still leading the World Championship by some margin.
Yeah, Gasly moving over. Maybe he'd hunted for a bit of water earlier down the straight. As the Constructors' Championship table as it stands, Alpine moving into 6th place. Wow. Like a lot of people very happy. And in Stone, and in the garage here too.
Trying to work out, do you think that includes Piastri's penalty falling against Tsunoda? Because you can get 1 point, therefore Alpine will take 1 point.
5 to go.
Yes, asking the question. Possibly. We just go with the line. Standings as they are.
I'm sorry, I shouldn't have put you on the spot there.
All I know is the track where Esteban Ocon, once upon a time, debut here, wasn't it, all those years ago in 2017, in his 4th season for Marussia, was running in the points and almost produced a points finish that would have given Marussia a huge financial boost and maybe kept that team in Formula 1 at the time, but over the last 3 laps he just lost out to the Sauber team at that time. Felipe Nasr, he was the one that got past him. Well, today he's going to hold on for a podium here and give Alpine a huge financial boost before he heads to Haas for next season, 75th World Championship season in the history of Formula 1. And Max Verstappen, after today's 69 laps, will be looking
4 to go.
Will be going to start a new season as a 4-time world champion and will hold off the threats of McLaren. This has been exactly what he would have wanted after the frustrations and the anger of qualifying. They had to start this race down in 17th place. Here comes Lewis Hamilton looking for a move on Liam Lawson, not there for him. Lawson hangs on again. Here comes Sergio Perez, though, right behind Hamilton. Has he got a bit of electrical energy, some charge? That's been charged up to try and get past the Mercedes. He wants to go down the inside. There's no room there. He has to bail out of that before contact was made.
Yeah, he was hoping for a little window to open up on the inside there, but Lewis had him well and truly covered.
3 to go.
I will finish the race for the mechanics.
Oh dear.
But they did a very good job today.
Oh.
But my back is hurting, man. This bouncing is not normal. Imagine how the drivers would have felt if this was a dry race today and the speeds were that much faster. This track's been resurfaced, but it might need the heavy roller treatment between now and when we come back next year.
I think they need to be having words with whoever did the resurfacing, because it's you can't put a new surface.
I thought Hamilton said, I thought maybe it was just his car, but I guess he's not the only one who's felt it.
What you had the year before. You know, if you had that sort of building work done on your house, you'd be asking for your money back.
Compared to the rest of the roads in Sao Paulo, it's like a billiard table, but you're going an awful lot faster on this track than you are elsewhere in Sao Paulo. And out in front, Max Verstappen continues to go that much faster. Now lapping the low 121s, where everyone else is either mids or late in the case of...
Hamilton trying to make a move? No.
In the 122s as well, he is finding grip and he is finding pace in the wet at Interlagos once again, and he has looked absolutely unstoppable since he took the lead of this race.
Well, he's making a statement, isn't he? Another fastest lap, and his lead is now over 17 seconds, which is the same number as the position he started at. So that's a real...
I bet Verstappen will get the driver of the day. 2 laps to go.
Moving by 1 second or 18 as he is now, but this is a statement that he's trying to make.
I said it a few laps ago, he's not finished within 19 seconds of the race winner since before the summer break. He might be 19 seconds or more ahead of the second place car by the end of this. Well, he's now 18 seconds ahead. He's got a couple of laps to improve that.
And this, in some ways, Robbie, is the infuriating thing about those moments of road rage that we see in places like Mexico, is he's got more God-given talent to drive a race down his little finger than most other drivers who've ever been on a Formula 1 grid. And,
Checo to the inside, trying to get by Hamilton. Oh, no.
He's leading the race. His teammate in the same car can't get into the points. And let's face it, he has tried hard.
he has tried hard. He's going to keep trying as we go down the retro posture. Once again, Hamilton wise winning. Once again, those sparks coming off the bottom of that Mercedes as they head to Interlagos. But yeah, just to finish my point, that's why it sort of drives you a bit mad when you see those moments from...
White flag is out. Last lap at Interlagos. It's been quite an interesting race. A lot of crashes. And a lot of close racing, although at times seemingly impossible to pass or close in. But Max Verstappen, who started 17th on the grid, on track for his, I think, 8th win of the year and his first since June. Yeah.
Is going to come across Joe Granule, Fernando Alonso at this pace on this final lap. It has been an absolute masterclass of how to race in the wet here at Interlagos.
Seeing like Lawson, Hamilton, Checo start their last lap, but they were ways behind. And when I do the finishing order for the points, it might not be accurate because of outstanding penalties. Here comes the number 1 Red Bull Honda going for career win number 62. Final turn. Max Verstappen wins the Sao Paulo Grand Prix at Interlagos. Ocon will finish second, 19 seconds behind, with teammate Pierre Gasly in tow to make it a double podium for BWT Alpine F1 team. He's coming on the final turn. Here comes Ocon, his first podium in God knows how long. Same for Gasly. The first double podium for Alpine since 2013. The first double podium for France since 97. George Russell 4th. Leclerc 5th. Norris 6th. Tsunoda 7th after the penalty. Piastri 8th. Lawson 9th. Lewis Hamilton the final points position. And thus, the Sao Paulo Grand Prix finally draws to a close. 1 hour to Martinsville, which I'm pretty sure I'll be streaming that. Thanks to everyone who showed up for this one. Hope you enjoyed. BowserJrXD signing off. Have a good one.